with the definition of economics, I just want to give you a glimpse of what we will be doing for the next 5 weeks. So let me start with the syllabus, or before that, let me answer the question to you. Let me answer the question which all of you must be having. Why should we read economy? Why should we read economy? It's such a difficult subject. It's such a hard subject. It's such a subject that I will not be able to understand anything. Why should we read? Answer is very simple. UPSC will ask you a lot of questions from Indian economy. Right? That is the simplest answer that I can give you. If you look at the trend last 5 years, or let's say last 6 years, what has been the trend of questions being asked in both prelims as well as mains? This is the kind of a trend that you'll see. First and foremost, please don't mug up this particular list. Not required. Please do not mug up. Right? Don't start mugging up right now itself. Simple. On an average, around 15 to 16 questions every year will come in the UPSC preliminary examination or civil services preliminary examination from Indian economy. You can see this particular trend. Is it fixed? No, it is not fixed. In 1 year, they might ask you 15 questions. In another year, they might ask you, let's say, 17 questions. In the third year, they might ask you, let's say, 13 questions. It will vary. It will vary from one time period to another time period, or 1 year to next year. But one thing is guaranteed. They are going to ask you a very good number of questions from Indian economy. And that too, remember the next point here. The kind of questions which are asked by UPSC are more current affairs based. Current affairs based. Right? Or else, you must have heard of one more term, dynamic based. That is, in simple terms, UPSC will pick up the articles, or let's say will pick up the concepts which are there in the discussion and ask you questions on these particular concepts itself. Let me give a very simple example so that you understand. If you read today's newspaper, and which I would recommend that you people do every day, there is no escape for you. If you read today's newspaper, that is The Hindu, there is one article on the concept of hostile takeover. Article. There is this article on hostile takeover, and that is being discussed in the context of Mr. Adani's group, right? That is Adani Media Group trying to buy out majority stake in the NDTV. Now today you don't worry, right? Don't start panicking and start asking questions on, sir, what about that? What is the issue there, etc. When we discuss the relevant chapter, I will tell you what is the idea of a hostile takeover. If a company goes for a hostile takeover, how that particular bid can be prevented, etc. We'll have a discussion. You don't have to be worried about it today. But my recommendation to you people is, whenever these kind of articles will keep on popping up in the newspaper, please read these articles. I'll give you a second example. It is not given in Hindu, but other newspapers of today. For example, Business Standard of today, Business Line of today's edition, they are carrying one article regarding 7 years of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. The government of India has implemented a scheme by the name of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. And because that is there in the newspaper, UPSC might simply think, right time to ask a question on Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. So that is what I'm saying. Please be very careful. Focus on what keeps on appearing in the current affairs, update the current affairs, and keep on revising the current affairs. Because the trend of UPSC is very clear. They will ask you questions, majority of them coming from the current affairs itself. So this is the trend regarding the UPSC preliminary examination. What about the trend in the UPSC means? On an average, how many questions will come from Indian economy? Generally, on an average, around 4 to 5 questions, both under, let's say, 10 marker as well as 15 marker, are asked from the Indian economy itself. It could be a question based on taxation. It could be a question based on inflation plus GDP. A question based on agriculture sector. Question based on food processing. Question based on foreign investment. Question based on inclusive growth, etc. Again, don't enter into panic today itself. When we discuss individual chapters, for example, when I discuss, let's say, taxation, we look at the kind of questions which have appeared in the last 3 or 4 years on GST, on the taxation, and we will solve those questions. Don't worry about the MCQs also. Last couple of years, what kind of questions have been asked from different chapters in the form of multiple choice questions? We'll have a look at it. We will solve those questions. So you don't have to worry today itself. But what I would recommend is focus on the trend. Trend holds true. Around 15 questions in the prelims, around 5 questions on an average in the mains will come from Indian economy. In the next 5 weeks, what we will be discussing? Don't start writing down. Don't mug up this list also. This is a habit of the students. You simply come to a conclusion. What is there in the slide? You should keep on writing it down. No, anyways, the PPTs are given to you. Please don't worry about it. And don't mug up the list of the topics also. Why? We are going to cover all the topics individually. So this is the list of the topics. We'll be covering the introduction, that is starting with, let's say, some of the concepts in microeconomics. Don't worry about definition of microeconomics. We'll cover it later. Please don't worry. We'll discuss fiscal policy of the government. We'll discuss monetary policy of Reserve Bank of India. We'll discuss infrastructure such as roads, railways, airports, waterways, etc. We'll discuss GDP, gross domestic product, inflation, NBFCs, taxation policy of the government. We'll discuss related to agriculture sector, food processing. We'll discuss inclusive growth, different types of investments that take place in the economy such as FDI, FPI, etc. Right, so this is a list of the topics that we'll be covering. Along with this, I've not written 2 more terminologies here. That is 2 very important international organizations. One is World Trade Organization, and second, the IMF, International Monetary Fund. I've not written it, but we will cover both of them. Please don't be worried today. As and when the classes will keep on happening, we'll cover both of those organizations also. Now, related to this particular list of the topics, some of the students generally have this tendency to divide the syllabus into the prelims based as well as the mains based syllabus. My recommendation to you people is please don't do that, especially for Indian economy. Don't do that. Why? If you ask me strictly, sir, is there any chapter that you have listed here from where questions will come only in the mains? There is one chapter I can simply point my finger at. That is the concept of inclusive growth. On the idea of inclusive growth, don't worry about inclusive growth now. And on the concept or on the chapter of inclusive growth, the questions will appear in the UPSC mains. But apart from that, if you ask me, sir, is there any other chapter exclusively for UPSC means, right, which I don't have to cover for UPSC prelims, only for UPSC means, there is no such other chapter. Rest of the chapters, questions have been asked in the UPSC prelims, questions have been asked in the civil services mains examination as well. So my recommendation to you people is, do not try to divide these particular chapters into those which you need to read only for prelims and those which you need to read only for mains. Please don't do that. Because you've started preparing now, start preparing for both prelims as well as the mains simultaneously. Do not divide, do not waste your time. Because questions, there is no guarantee from which chapter the question will be picked up by UPSC. Yes, there are certain guaranteed chapters, but I cannot simply say there will be no question asked by UPSC from industry and services. That would be wrong. Why? A couple of years ago, suddenly UPSC asked the question on LPG reforms, which comes under the chapter industry and services. Right, so I can simply say, leave it to UPSC mains, don't read it in the prelims. What if suddenly one more question will be asked next year on a concept of, let's say, MSME, on a concept of industrial policy, etc. So please don't differentiate, read simultaneously for both prelims as well as mains. A second very important point I want to discuss regarding the syllabus given here. Every chapter will have a discussion. The notes, right, that is ARM's additional reading material is given to you. These chapters are given in the book. Please read those particular chapters, but more importantly, update with current affairs. Update with current affairs. Please do not miss out on this. I'll tell you a very simple reason for this. Imagine I'll discuss a chapter that is by the name of international trade. Okay, imagine in the next 2 weeks, I'll finish the chapter. But trust me on this, on the chapter of international trade, or within that, we'll have a discussion on a concept called as foreign trade policy. Foreign trade policy, FTP. And in the next 1 month, there will be a new announcement of foreign trade policy. That is, government will announce a new foreign trade policy. So should we keep on reading what we have discussed in the classroom and stick to that? Absolutely no. When a new policy is announced, a new measure is announced by the government, your duty is to update that particular information and start revising that. Because if a new policy is announced by the government, more probability that UPSC will pick up a question from that particular area. So this is one very important pointer. You need to make a note of this. Whenever you read the newspapers and you get a new information regarding any of the things that you have discussed, update that particular information and keep on revising that information. Done? So this is the list of the topics. Don't worry about the list of the topics. We'll cover all the chapters individually. One by one, we will go through all of them. Now, many will simply ask me, sir, great. Then what should be our references? What should be our references? From which sources should we read? I will divide all of you into two groups. One group that already has certain background of economics. They might be undergraduates in economics or postgraduates in economics or PhD holders in economics. For them, NCERT books will not add any value because they already have an exposure to economics. They know what is the definition of economics. They know what is law for demand. They have mugged up what is law of supply. They know how the graphs are drawn, etc. So for those who already have a background in economics, my recommendation is these NCERT books may not add any value to you. You can directly start with a reference book that has been given to you. And the second group of the students or second group of aspirants, those who are hearing the term Indian economy for the first time, they are basically connecting to the economy for the first time ever, and they are reading economy only because it is important subject for UPSC. Otherwise, they would have simply said, sir, economy is that side, right? I'm this side. Economy is North Pole, I'm South Pole. If you're that kind of a student, my recommendation is start with NCERTs. Start with NCERTs. Why? There are certain basic concepts you need to understand. Very simple. There are basic concepts you need to understand, and these particular books will build your concepts. Class 9th, class 10th, class 11th, and class 12th. These are the 4 books. Is it okay? Right? These are the 4 books, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And just to make your preparation much more simple, right? At least this way, I've given the title of the book also. Class 9th under social science, there is a book by the name of economics. Class 10th, there is a book by the name of Understanding Economic Development. Class 11th, the title of the book is Indian Economic Development. And finally, class 12th, Macroeconomics. Please be careful here. Class 12th, there are 2 books. One is Microeconomics and the second one is Macroeconomics. Don't worry about microeconomics. Don't worry about microeconomics. I'm telling this to everyone. There are certain students who I know, because looking at your comments, I know you will have a background in economics. So there are certain students who are already, let's say, undergraduates or postgraduates in economics. I know you have studied microeconomics for many years, but for UPSC, this is a drawback for you. For UPSC, they will not ask question on microeconomics. And even if they ask a question on microeconomics, it is very simple, very basic type of a question. Why? Trust me when I say this. When you're writing UPSC, students are coming from different backgrounds. Right? When I say background, the study background or graduation background. Somebody is a law graduate, science graduate, right? Somebody has done MBBS. Somebody has done, right, let's say, a degree in chemistry. Right? He's a chemistry degree holder, right? Or let's say PhD holder. So the argument is, can you expect all of these particular people to study microeconomics now? Those who have done microeconomics will understand the pain. So can you expect all of these people to study microeconomics and understand microeconomics? Absolutely no. Absolutely no. Right? And if you don't trust my words, then you will trust at least UPSC. So how can I know what kind of questions are asked? Look at last 5 years questions. Simple. Look at last 5 years questions. You will understand. Okay, you will simply understand what kind of questions are asked. In UPSC prelims, if you look at the trend, once, right, every 2 years or 3 years, one question will come from the concept of microeconomics. Once every 2 or 3 years, concept of microeconomics is asked. But what kind of a concept? They will ask about law of demand. They'll ask about law of supply. They'll ask about concept of elasticity. They've asked a question on public goods, etc. So that is the reason I'm saying, do not try to become an expert in microeconomics. At least those who have not done any degree in economics, don't try to become an expert in micro. Please don't do that. Not required in the first place. Then what about other areas? Macroeconomics. Should you become expert in that? My answer to that is no for that. You don't have to become an expert in economics. Right? Please understand that. Why? People study economics for 5 years, 8 years, 3 years. Even then they are not experts. And you want to study economics for 1.5 months and want to become an expert in economics. Tell me, is it rational? Is it possible? I do understand. Is it possible? Right? I'm not testing your capacity. I know. Right? You are a product of university exams. I'm a product of university exam. We are very good in mugging up. I know that. Right? If I give you a 20-page sheet, ask you to write, you will mug up. You simply write it. UPSC is a different animal altogether. UPSC will not just test whether you are good in mugging up. It will also test whether you are good in understanding the concepts also. That is the reason I'm saying, please don't become an expert in the subject. Some of you might simply argue, counter my point, saying that, sir, you are a teacher. How can you say that? Yes, I'm a teacher. That's the reason I'm telling you. Your goal is to pass UPSC, not to become an economic advisor today itself to the government. So that's the reason. Right? Don't worry. Whatever is required for UPSC, read only that. Now you will counter my statement saying that, sir, how do I know what is required for UPSC? Very valid question. Best question as far as I know. How do I know what is required for UPSC? I will answer in 2 simple statements. 1, whatever we discuss in the classroom, read that. Done? Whatever we discuss in the classroom, read and keep on revising that. Second, if you can answer, right, or if you can explain certain important economic related events which are happening in India, more than sufficient. That is current affairs. Is it okay? That is current affairs. If you can explain what is happening in Indian economy, more than sufficient. So what do you mean by that? Let me give a very simple example, couple of examples just to make the point clear. There is this particular situation that is happening between Adani as well as NDTV. Frankly tell me, do you think UPSC will ask you the names of the companies? I understand the statement. Right? Frankly tell me, do you think UPSC will ask you the names of the 2 companies? No. Do you think the amount that is quoted in the newspaper, will UPSC ask you that? Again, answer is no. What UPSC will ask you? UPSC will ask you, what do you mean by hostile takeover? UPSC will ask you, are these the situations where hostile takeover can be done? UPSC will ask you, if there is a hostile takeover, what can be done in order to address it? These are the only things that you need to carry away from these articles. Don't start mugging up the names of the promoters. Don't start mugging up the amount that is quoted in the newspaper. Don't start mugging up, right? He said this, she said this. Waste of your time. Right? If you can simply look at the article and say, okay, this is the issue, more than sufficient for UPSC. Have you understand? More than sufficient for UPSC. Right? So that's the reason I'm saying, if you can explain what is happening in the Indian economy, more than sufficient for UPSC exam. Right? So these are the list of the references. If you have no connection to economy whatsoever, start with the NCERTs, but you already have exposure to the economics, then my recommendation is the institution book has been provided to you. Start reading from that. And regarding the institution book also, this is my advice to you. Advice, right? What is advice? Do not try to read everything in this particular book. Do not try to read everything in this particular book. Why? I'll tell you. Generally, the Indian economy books are not small. These are big books. Why these are big books? I'll tell you a very simple reason. Imagine you'll come to my shop and let's play a game here. I'm a shopkeeper. I'm a store owner. Right? By the way, bookstore owner. You'll come to my store and you'll ask me, sir, give me a book on Indian economy. I will give you a book which has, let's say, 500 pages, or let's say I'll give you another book which has, let's say, 300 pages. And if price of both of the books, right, I am pretty sure all of you will answer this question. And honestly, by the way, one book is 300 pages, another book is, let's say, 600 pages. And the price of both of the books is, let's say, 600 rupees. Now, honestly tell me, which of the two books you will take? Book A, which has 300 pages, book B, which has 600 pages. Which book will you take? Most of us, we are Indians, by the way. We are Indians. We will take book B. And if I ask you why book B, you'll say, sir, number of pages. Number of pages are 600. But do you know whether all the 600 pages are required for UPSC? Do you know how many pictures are there in this particular book? That is my contention. What we generally do is we look at a book which is bigger book. We believe that it is a quality book. It should have all the quality information. Not necessary. That's the reason I'm saying whatever is given in the book, all of it is not relevant to you. All of it is not required for UPSC. They will put it in the book just to ensure that the book becomes bulky. So what you should read in the book? Whatever we discuss in the classroom, if something appears in the current affairs, and if it is there in the book, read it. Simple. Whatever we discuss in the classroom, and second, if something appears in the newspaper, current affairs, read it. Done. So these are the list of the references that I would strongly recommend to you regarding the static portion of the economy. What about current affairs? What about current affairs now? What list we must refer to, right, to cover the current affairs? One, read the newspaper. Read the newspaper. Simple. First thing, you will have to read the newspaper every day. And if you ask me, I would strongly recommend that along with one national daily, you read a business newspaper. Not the complete business newspaper, certain articles in the business newspaper. Right? Why? I'll tell you. Many of the times, some of the articles which are relevant for UPSC, I see that they are not covered in national dailies. This is my observation. Some of the articles are very important, but they don't cover, for whatever reason, they don't cover in a national daily. For example, I told you today in Business Line and Business Standard, today is a newspaper. There is an article on masala bonds. In Business Standard, there is an article on masala bonds. And if you've been reading the newspaper and watching the news, you will realize that the term masala bonds is there in the recent discussion. Anybody knows? I will not ask you a question on masala bonds. Anybody knows in what context masala bonds are being discussed in the last 2 weeks in newspapers? Anybody? Start answering. Let me see. Masala bonds. Anybody? Are spices? No, masala bonds are not spices. Kerala government. Great. Right? Karthik says Kerala government. Correct. Kerala government. So masala bonds are being discussed in the context of, right? Okay, some of you answered. Thanks. Right? And I'm happy that you people know you are already aware of current affairs. So masala bonds, right? What is masala bond? Don't worry about today. I have not started with the discussion on economy. Masala bonds will discuss when I take up, let's say, financial market. But in the newspapers, there is a discussion. In the current affairs, there is a discussion on masala bonds. And this was for whatever reason not given sufficient coverage in Hindu. Not even in Indian Express. But there is a discussion on masala bonds currently. So UPSC will look at it and say, okay, let me ask a question on masala bonds. And many of you will miss out because of this reason. So my recommendation is please read a national daily, either Hindu or Indian Express. Left to you. Because frankly speaking, many of the students will feel the language of Hindu slightly difficult. I can understand. They will feel that the Hindu language is slightly difficult to understand and comprehend. For those students, I would simply recommend just don't read Hindu because everybody reads Hindu. At the end of the day, you should have information that is more important. Then you can simply shift it to another national daily, Indian Express. Entirely your choice. Entirely your choice. Apart from this, there are 2 magazines published by the government, Yojana as well as Kurukshetra. Okay, Yojana as well as Kurukshetra. Right? These particular 2 magazines are published once in a month. My recommendation, please read. Please read. Apart from this, you will also have to go through the budget economic survey as well as India yearbook. Right? So budget and economic survey will cover, right? The live sessions will take place. Right? Please have a look at it. Right? Economic survey and budget will cover it. Don't worry. And India yearbook, you have to read for covering schemes. Different schemes you have to read. Get the information from IYB. Done. So this is a list of the references. A very small list of references. My recommendation is try to do it on a continuous basis. Reading newspaper, revision, right? Or let's say revising once every week. You make your own plan, but try to stick to the plan. Then you see after 1 or 2 months, automatically the terms in economy, or let's say the articles in economy will start becoming very clear to you. Done. So let me start then. Let me start. Right, so the first chapter that we'll be discussing, right, is Introduction to Economics. Some of the concepts in microeconomics, we'll have a discussion here. Some of the concepts in microeconomics. Okay, some of you asking, sir, which yearbook? India yearbook 2023, next year. You're going to write the exams next year, obviously. And those who are writing exams next year, you can simply use the India yearbook of next year. Generally in the month of January, February or March, government will come out with India yearbook. You can purchase the latest edition because obviously it's a government publication. A lot of valid data you'll get from India yearbook. Okay. Newspaper, business newspaper, left to you. There is no one business newspaper. Any business newspaper which you want to read. By the way, you're asking anything is available free of a cost? No. There's a very famous saying in economics. There are no free lunches. There are no free lunches, right? That is a very famous saying, which means nothing is available free of a cost in the economy, right? So that's the reason you want to use a business newspaper. I would recommend get a subscription, right? And some of you simply say, no, that's very difficult. I cannot read a business newspaper. In that case, what I would recommend or advise to you people is on weekly basis, right? We are providing Economy This Week videos. Some of you might have seen this. Others, if you have not heard of it, by the way, I'm the same person who takes those videos or uploads those particular videos. We have this particular initiative by the name of Economy This Week, where we cover important economy-related articles from all the newspapers which are relevant. For example, we cover Economic Times, Business Line, Business Standard, Mint, right? And another couple of newspapers. So whatever relevant articles have appeared in different newspaper articles, business-related, mind you, we compile and make a compilation and give an analysis of all of these particular articles. So if you are unable to read that, read a business newspaper, at least go through the video once a week. Be happy. It is done once a week, hardly around 45 minutes to 1 hour. And I strongly believe you can dedicate 1 hour in your busy schedule in 1 week for reading economic current affairs. I strongly believe that. So let's start. With that particular caveat, let's start. So let's have a discussion on some of the important concepts in microeconomics. My advice to you people is, as far as I'm concerned, UPSC will try to pick up, if at all they want to ask you a question on microeconomics, they'll try to stick to these particular concepts itself. Because other concepts are slightly difficult, very difficult for a non-commerce or let's say non-economic background student. Right? So I've made a compilation of all the important concepts. Let's have a discussion on all the concepts one by one. So this is the list of the topics that I'm going to cover in this chapter. Don't mug up the list, by the way. Let's have a discussion on all of these particular concepts. First, let me start with the definition of economics. Okay, let me start with definition of economics. Right? What is the definition? There are hundreds of definitions for economics. First and foremost, UPSC will not ask you a definition, but anyways, I thought of starting with a definition so that you understand what we are going to discuss in the 5 weeks. Let me take the most accepted definition for economics. The definition says, economics is the study of human behavior whenever there is scarcity of resources. Simple definition, I will explain it, just give me a minute. Economics is the study of human behavior whenever there is a scarcity of resources. Let me explain it. Imagine there is a person ABC. The person ABC has 100 rupees. Some of you simply say, why 100 rupees? Can I take 1000 rupees? Take it. Concept is more important, not the money here. The 100 rupee that is available with the person, using that 100, the person has to purchase food, purchase luxury products such as perfume, purchase essentials, and also pay for transportation. Is it okay? So far, so good? The 100 rupee, right, that's the first point. The person has 100 rupee, nothing more, nothing less. Using that 100 rupee, he has to take care of the requirements such as food, purchase essentials such as clothes, purchase luxury products such as perfumes, and also pay for transportation. Now, the problem is the 100 rupee that is available is not sufficient to cater to all the requirements. I repeat, the 100 rupee that is available with the person is not sufficient to satisfy all the requirements. For example, what if I say the food will incur expenses of 40? For luxuries, the person has to spend another 40 rupees. Transportation, let's say, is 20 rupees, and essential is, let's say, another 40 rupees. I don't say, sir, what you'll get in 40 rupees, don't worry about it. Right? That is not the concern here. If you want to purchase all of this, how much money the person will require? Right? Imagine you are that person. You want to use 100 rupees for all of this. So the amount of money that you require is 140 rupees. Simple CSAT calculation, 140 rupees. But do you think you have 140 rupees? Do you think you have 140? Absolutely no. You don't have 140. That is the meaning of scarcity. Scarcity simply means the requirement is higher, availability is lower. I understand this. How much you have is not sufficient compared to how much you actually want. For example, if I ask you, right, what you want in your life? Many of you say, sir, I want to purchase a Benz car. I want to purchase a real estate in Saudi Arabia, just like Mr. Mukesh Ambani has done. I want to purchase a Rolls Royce. I want to purchase an iPhone. I want this, I want that, etc., etc., etc. But frankly, tell me, do you have sufficient money for all of it? Simple. Do you have sufficient money for all of it? Answer is no. Right? I believe none of us are as rich as Mr. Mukesh Ambani or Mr. Gautam Adani. Right? None of us are as rich as them. So the amount of money that we have, because to get anything in this category, that is, let's say you want to purchase a Rolls Royce car, you'll have to pay money. Or if you agree with me, you want to go to a trip in, let's say Dubai, you'll have to pay money for it. You want to purchase a laptop, a high-end laptop, you need money. I believe some of your gamers, you need basically a laptop such as, let's say, which will have a very high-end processor. That will cost you money. So argument is the money that we have, the resources that we have, which we want to use and get access to all these products like this. These resources such as money is not sufficient. Right? That is the concept of scarcity. It is the idea of scarcity. That is what you need. Right? The amount of money you want is not the one that you have. Right? You have lesser than what is required. So the whole idea of economics hinges on the idea of scarcity itself. Right? So idea is the amount of resources available are not sufficient. So in this case, you have 100, but you need 140 rupees if you want to satisfy all the requirements, which is not possible. So what you will do is you'll basically forego some of them. You'll basically leave some of these requirements and take care of the other requirements. In essence, what you've done, you have allocated resources. You have distributed resources in such a way that using these resources, some of your requirements will be satisfied. And this particular decision making that we're talking of, I understand, the decision making that we're talking of is nothing but the definition of economics. That is the behavior that we have. How do we behave when we have resources which are not sufficient to meet all our requirements? How do we use the resources? That study is called as economics. Is the definition okay with you? Anybody has a doubt regarding the definition? If yes, there is a doubt, let me know. Let me know if there is any doubt regarding the definition. Then so how do we allocate the resources? The study of that behavior is called as economics. Now let me give a very simple example so that you quickly understand. The term economics might be new to you, but trust me, you have been practicing economics. Let me give a simple example. Either you are a job holder or you get the pocket money from your parents. And let's say either one of them, don't worry. Don't take it as an offensive statement and say, how can you tell me that I'm dependent on the parents? I'm not saying that. Imagine you're a job holder. So a couple of days now, you'll get the salary on the first. So don't you think you will do the same thing? You have a salary of let's say 1 lakh, 2 lakh, whatever the amount is, don't worry. Don't disclose that to me. Right? So you have a salary. And once you get the salary, will you not take the salary and start allocating the salary? Let's say 20,000 rupees for home EMI, 10,000 rupees rent, right? Or let's say 5,000 rupees. I need to repay the loan that I've taken. Right? Another 2,000 rupees electricity bill, 3,000 rupees for petrol. What you're doing? You're practicing economics. Is it okay? You're basically doing economics itself. You're practicing economics. Otherwise, if you don't do that, some of you will say, so no, I don't do that. I will give you another example. You'll receive salary, and from the day one when you receive salary, you'll behave as if you're Mr. Mukesh Ambani, you're Mr. Gautam Adani. Even I do that. Right? When we receive the salary, we feel very happy and we start spending left, right, and center. Food, we'll go to very good restaurant. Travel, we'll book Ola. Right? Movie, we'll go to PVR. That to very big screen like this. Right? So we keep on spending money. And after a certain number of days, we realize, no, we are not Ambanis, we are not Adanis. Our salary is limited. The amount of money we have is limited. Then you will start practicing economics. Right? You want to go to office, you'll say, Ola, no, that is very costly. Surge pricing I use. I will take metro. Right? Rather than Ola, metro is better. You want to eat, right? Money is less. Then you say, no, Maggie, 2 minutes. Who will get ready, go to restaurant, wait in a queue. We need to spend hours together. And have you seen the traffic? No, I will not go outside. I will do Maggie in 2 minutes in home only. So what you've done, you're practicing economics. You're simply practicing economics. So you know that the resources, that is the money you have, is not sufficient. Is not sufficient to cater to all your requirements. So what you do, you become economist. So I don't do any of these. Great. You might not be doing. Look at your parents now. If you're not doing any of this, at least look at your parents. Your parents will be practicing economics. I understand this? Right? So this is the definition. Simple definition. Don't run behind this. Don't mug up also. Simple. The resources are scarce. How do we allocate the resources? The study of that is economics. Don't you think government also does the same thing? Simple question to you people now. Don't you think government also does the same thing? Government has money. Government needs to spend it. But there is a concern. The money that they have is not sufficient. I understand. The money that they have is not sufficient. Now some of you ask me a question. So government can print money. No. Government has printing machines. Why don't they simply keep on printing 2,000 rupee note day in, day out and use the money? Problem is that we'll discuss that later. Don't worry. They can't do that. I understand this. If that was possible, right, don't you think there will be no poverty in India? I understand. Not even India, the rest of the world also. Right? Because some of you simply say, right, our government has printing machines. Let them keep on printing 2,000 rupee note like I do. Please don't do that. If you do that, that's a crime. So why don't they do that? There is a problem. The problem is named inflation. There's a chapter on this. Right? We will discuss that later. So understand the logic here. Government also has money, but that is not sufficient. What government does is basically follow this. Resources are scarce, right? They have a problem, right? They will start allocating the resources. This is right the definition of economics. Let me go ahead. Economics is divided into two parts. Economics is divided right into two parts. One is microeconomics, and the other one is macroeconomics. Micro and macro. What is the basic idea of a micro and a macro? Understand this more than sufficient. Micro simply focuses on study of individual units. We'll take example. We'll understand it. Don't worry. Micro is the study of individual units, and the macro is the study of whole. So what do you mean by this? I'm unable to understand. Let me start with a very simple example. Imagine this is a house. Okay, imagine this is a house. And in this particular house, let's say there are three people. A, B, C. Right? There are three people in the house, A, B, and C. Now, when I say microeconomics, right, what is the idea here? When I say microeconomics, I will not be studying all the three people together. I will not be doing that. I'll be focusing individually on A. I'll be focusing individually on B. I'll be focusing right on C. So what do you mean by focus here? I will study how much is the income earned by person A, and how much right is the demand for goods and services by A. For example, imagine your own house. Imagine your own house. In your own house, there are, let's say, 5 people. Now, if I start studying you as an individual entity, I will look into how much income you are earning, how much production of goods and services you are doing, right? How much demand for goods and services you are doing, what kind of savings you do, where do you keep your savings? Do you invest in the market? Do you invest in the bank, or you simply keep the amount in the savings account? What is your savings like this? So if I start studying all the individuals like this, right, this is basically the idea of microeconomics. This is a basic idea of microeconomics. That is, rather than looking at the house, look at the whole Indian economy now. Is okay? Look at the whole Indian economy. Now, can I divide the whole Indian economy like this? There are companies in India. There are companies or firms. Companies or firms. There are households. There is government, and there is right Reserve Bank of India. These are the units which are present in the economy. Now, tell me, apart from companies, households, government, and RBI, is there anything left out in the Indian economy? Start answering. Do you think anything is left out in the Indian economy apart from government, firms, or companies, and the Reserve Bank of India? Anything is left out? Anybody who says something is left out? Indian citizens are part of households, my dear. Foreign investment, I'm talking about India. Foreign investment outside India, I'm talking about India. Agriculture basically will be counted as a part of some companies, some part of households. Who's left out? Shop owners, counted in firms. Panchayat Raj institutions, government. Right, so understand this. By the way, don't try to find nothing is left out. Don't try to find nothing is left out. Everything will be covered under one of these heads only. So what we can do is, the whole economy can be divided into 4 components like this. The companies or firms, households, government, as well as RBI. So understand the logic here. If I start studying, let's say, one company. I understand this. If I start studying one company, let's say Ambani Group of companies. And if I find out how many employees are there in the Ambani Group, how much is the total production done by this group, how much is the total supply of goods and services, right? How many jobs they are creating? Am I focusing on the whole of India, or I'm focusing on one part of India? Right? Follow my segment here. I'm studying only one company, that is Ambani Group of companies, right? So if I focus on this and start studying, am I covering the whole of India, or am I covering only one part of India? Answer is simple. I'm covering a part of India. So whenever you start focusing on one part or individual units of the economy and study the individual units, that is called as microeconomics. Is it okay? The study of individual units is referred to as microeconomics. Whenever you study companies, whenever you study what houses do, what kind of income they generate, how much goods they demand, what kind of goods they demand. If you start studying individual units in the economy, that is called as microeconomics. And if you study the whole economy, for example, I'll study total production done in India is how much? Total production. Government of India is spending so much amount of money on all the economy, how much expenditure is done by the government? All of us put together, that is all the houses in India, how much income we are earning, how much expenditure we are doing. So in this case, I'm not focused on individual part of the economy. I'm focused on the whole of Indian economy. So when I focus on the whole of the economy or whole of the India, that is called as macroeconomics. That is referred to as macroeconomics. So simple concept, micro means we focus on individual parts or individual units in the economy, study the individual units. Whereas in macroeconomics, we'll study all the components of the economy as one entity. All the companies, how much is the production? All the companies, how much is the supply? All the households, how much is the income, etc. like this. Right? So that is the basic idea of microeconomics and macroeconomics. And another example, I will look at this, or another point of difference here. Under microeconomics, the focus or the study is done on individual incomes, individual units of production, individual units of output, etc. Whereas in macroeconomics, we focus on totals. Aggregate here is simply nothing but total, right? Sum total of everything. For example, sir, what do you mean by aggregate? Let me give a very simple example here. Imagine there are 3 companies, A, B, and C. Okay? Imagine there are 3 companies, A, B, and C. A company manufactures 100 units, B manufactures 200 units, and C manufactures 300 units. So if I study only company C, that becomes microeconomics. But if I study the production done by all the three companies, the sum total is how much? 600 units. This becomes macroeconomics. Is the issue clear here? Macro is always focused on sum totals in the economy, whereas a micro is focused on individuals within the economy. Right? The main tools of the microeconomic study is individual demand, individual supply, whereas the main tools for macroeconomic study is the total demand and total supply in the economy. So these are the two distinctions, or let's say the two divisions in the economics, microeconomics as well as macroeconomics. Done? Let me go ahead. Right, let me go ahead. Any doubts so far? Any doubts? Aggregates are nothing but total. Right, Pooja, aggregates is nothing but total. Right, some total of everything. Great. Let me continue. Next, evolution of economics. Right, evolution of economics is right in under 3 H we'll discuss concept of capitalism, socialism, and a mixed economy. Idea of capitalism, socialism, and a mixed economy. Right now, before we discuss all of this, I just want to discuss one more point here, and we'll come back to this. Don't say, sir, you're skipping slides. Right, you're cheating us. No, we'll go back to the slides. Don't worry. There is this idea of factors of production. FOP, factors of production. Now have a look at this. Let me start with the example here. Imagine you want to manufacture a product. Right? Imagine you want to manufacture a product. Either say manufacturing or production, one and the same. Don't worry. Imagine you want to manufacture a product. You tell me what would you require for manufacturing. Understand this. Imagine you want to manufacture a product. Start. What would you require to manufacture the product? Right? Labor, great. Capital, land, machinery. By the way, you are answering. I'm looking at your answer and typing it or writing it. Electricity, great. Okay, stop now. Stop. Thanks. So all of you answered. I'm happy. So you've answered multiple factors here. So what we do is understand this. In economics, you have written, all of you have written, around 20 points you people have written. Right? Somebody said, sir, labor. Somebody said money. Somebody said land. Somebody said, right, sir, I require plastic. Somebody said, sir, I require, right, this raw material, etc. So all of you have given answer to me, and if I keep on writing everything, there will be 20 points. But in economics, what we do is, whatever inputs you require to manufacture, understand the statement here, whatever inputs you require to manufacture, all these inputs will be classified under 4 heads. I'll repeat the statement, understand this. Whatever inputs you require to manufacture a good or produce a good, we will classify them under 4 heads. These are called as land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. I'll repeat it, understand this. Whatever inputs you require to produce a good, whatever you require, we will divide all of these inputs under 4 heads. Right? One is called as a land, second one is called as labor, third one is called as capital, and the fourth one is called as an entrepreneurship. Now some of you will say, sir, where is money? Money is not written. Money will be part of capital. Some of you will say, sir, what about raw material? Raw material will be part of land. Some of you will say, sir, what about right machines? Machines are part of capital. So understand the logic here. Anything that you require, right, to produce a good, right, and supply that to market, that will be covered under 4 heads: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Now what is the meaning of each of the terminologies? Let's try and understand this. Right, the land, remember this, a strict meaning of the land is nothing but piece of earth. I understand. Can you see the picture here? This is nothing but a land. Land is nothing but piece of earth. But understand the logic here. The interpretation under the factors of production, right, this is slightly different. Rather than having a narrow meaning of piece of earth like this, land refers to anything that is available to you naturally. I'll repeat the statement. What do you mean by the land? When I talk about factors of production, right, the idea of a land is anything that is available to you naturally, right? Naturally, whatever is available to you. For example, the piece of earth, right? For example, a piece of earth is available naturally. You're not manufacturing a piece of earth. It is already there. That will be part of land itself. The mineral resources, such as iron ore, right, such as any other minerals which are available naturally to you, will be counted as a part of the land itself. And the agriculture production that you do, it is naturally, right? It is natural production, right? That is a part of the land itself. So understand the logic here. Whatever inputs you require to produce and supply good to the market, we classify these particular inputs under 4 categories. These are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. And when you say land, right, and by the way, because these are 4, I can see my fingers here, because these are 4, we'll call these as 4 factors of production. I'll repeat it. Because these are 4 factors here, 4 things here, we'll call these as 4 factors of production. Right? Inputs is nothing but a factor itself. So first one is land. Anything that is naturally available, right, will be referred to as a land. Second, you want to manufacture. Imagine you want to manufacture this marker. When you want to manufacture this marker, you require, right, labor. You require certain people who you can ask them to manufacture a good. That is also one of the factors. But to manufacture this marker, apart from labor, you require machine. Machine is kept under the concept of capital. Understand the concept here. Many of you will get confused with the term money and capital. A narrow meaning of capital is money. I repeat, a narrow interpretation of the term capital is money. But please understand this. Right? The money cannot produce good. Have you understand my statement here? Using money, you cannot produce. I'm sorry, the money itself cannot produce a good. Those who have attended the weekend batches, they'll start now. Right? If you have not attended, don't worry. All of you can see this particular piece of right paper that is currency note in my hand. Right? Now have a look at this. Can this 100 rupee note produce a good? I want an answer from you people. Can this particular 100 rupee note, right? Can it produce a good? Absolutely no. Can it produce a good? I'll keep it like this. Right? In front of you, I'll keep it. Don't take it away. I'll keep it in front of you. Can the note produce a good? No. But can I use the note to purchase a machine? And can the machine produce a good? Of course, yes. Right? Then you'll simply say, sir, labor is required. Labor is already there. Imagine there is a labor in front of me. One of the workers is sitting. I'll keep the 100 rupee note in front of the labor. Right? Can labor plus money produce a good? No. Right? I know labor will take the money and run away. I know that. Right? But basically, money cannot produce goods on itself. What we need is, we need to use the money, purchase the machine, construct the road, set up a manufacturing facility. We can use that to produce and supply the goods to the market. Any issue so far? So capital simply, right, refers to anything that we have produced. I have to understand this. Right? The land is naturally available. Right? Anything that is naturally available to us is land. And what about the capital? Capital is the one that we have produced. For example, did we produce? Produce in the sense, right, manufacture this flask? Yes. Did we manufacture, right, the mobile phone? Yes. Did we manufacture, right, let's say this sanitizer? Yes. Did we manufacture the mobile phone that you're holding, laptop that you're holding, or tablet that you're holding? Of course, yes. But did we produce a piece of land? No. Did we produce an iron ore? No, it is already available in the land. So whatever is naturally available, land. Whatever we produce, part of capital. Example of capital, machineries, infrastructure such as manufacturing facilities, the roads, ports, etc. Anything that we have produced is nothing but capital. And finally, you might have machine, you might have a worker, you might have, let's say, a manufacturing facility, etc. But you want someone to put all of them together. I have to understand this. You want someone to put all the other factors together, and that is the role of the entrepreneur. That is the role of the entrepreneur. Right? Let me give you an example so that it is clear to you. Imagine today after the economic class, you'll realize economy is very difficult. Same thing with polity, same thing with geography also. So done. I will not prepare you for UPSC. Again, I'm not discouraging, just a hypothetical example. You'll simply say, right, no use of reading all of it and keep on hammering my brain. What I will do is I have money, let me start my business. Let me start a new business. You are an entrepreneur, by the way. And what you will do? Right, imagine you have 1 crore rupees. Right, imagine, right, you are a billionaire or you are a millionaire, you have 1 crore rupees. So you will take this particular 1 crore rupees, invest and set up a new manufacturing facility. So capital is done. Now you'll purchase machineries, capital again. Right, you have set up a new manufacturing facility, but to set it up, you purchase the piece of land, or you have taken certain office space on rent, come to the land here. And finally, you will hire certain employees, come to the labor. So what you have done, you have put together land, right? You have put together, right, the labor as well as the capital. When you put together all the three, congrats, you become an entrepreneur. You become an entrepreneur, right? So this is basically the fourth factor, entrepreneur. Done so far, so good. Any doubt so far? Any doubt so far? So agriculture is done by humans. Even if you don't do, right, understand this, even if you don't do, will the fruits grow naturally? I understand this. Even if you don't do, will the wheat grow naturally? Because understand, from where do you get the seeds? If you want to cultivate wheat, from where do you get the seeds? Did you create the seeds? No, the seeds were already available naturally. That is the reason anything that is given to us by nature is put under the concept of land. Office space should be part of the capital. No, generally office space will be kept as a part of the land. Why? You take office space and you will pay rent on it. Is the logic okay? You take office space and pay rent on it. Right? So that is the reason. Okay. Why not labor come under capital? Right? Anything that is produced by us, right, is coming under capital. Labor is available, you will use it. Right? So not under capital. Done? So explain labor. Workers, Baba. Labor is nothing but workers. Right? People who are willing to work for wages. That is nothing but labor. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. I want to add one more point here. Right? Follow this. Slightly confusing. People get confused here. Follow this very carefully. Right? Imagine you are the investor. You will invest. Right? I'll write here. It is you. Right? You are here. You will invest and start a new company, and this company will hire me. Be happy. Right? Be happy. You have invested. You have started a company, and the company hires me. So please understand this. You and the company are two different entities. That's the first point you need to take away from here. You start a company by the name of ABC. The company hires me. You might have appointed me. You might have taken my interview. But I'm an employee of the company. Please be very careful. Owner and the company, two different entities. Any doubts here? Let me know. Owner and the company are two different entities altogether. So please be very careful. Don't get conflicted here. You have invested. You have set up a company. I work for the company. Company pays me salary. I will provide the services to the company. Done? So follow this very carefully. I will provide my services to the company. I will work for the company. And let's say the company will pay salary or wages to me. The company will use my labor services and pay wages to me. What is the idea I'm discussing here? Right? There is this idea of factor input and factor income. Please make a note of both of them, because this we will keep on using for today's class, tomorrow's class, as well as day after tomorrow's class. Don't get confused here. Labor is a factor input. Any doubt? Let me know. Labor is a factor input. That is, here is a house. The house will supply labor to the company. This is nothing but a factor input. And because we have provided the labor to the company, the house has provided worker to the company in return has to pay salary, wages to the house. That is, in simple terms, if I'm a part of the house, I will come to your company, work in the company, and after, let's say, a day, after a week, after a month, you will pay me my wages. You will pay me my salary. So have a look at this. The company will utilize the labor services, and in return, company has to pay wages. Company has to pay a certain amount. Any doubts here? Wages are nothing but the earnings. Wages are nothing but earnings. Wages are paid on daily basis. What is house? My goodness. How? Okay, so understand this. Right, so house will provide the labor, and in return, the company will pay wages to the house. That is, to the labor, wages will flow to the house. Now understand the logic here. I'm explaining all of this. Whenever a company wants to utilize the factors of production, what are the factors of production? Land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Whenever the company will use any of the factors of production, on all of the factors of production, the company will have to spend money. Understand this. The company will use labor, company has to pay for the labor. Company will use raw materials, company has to pay for the raw materials. Company will purchase machineries, company has to pay for the machineries. Company will use the owner services, that is, you have invested, you have taken a risk, company will have to pay something to the owner also. Is the logic okay? So understand this. Whatever are the factors of production which are supplied to the company, which are used by the company has to pay. Company has to pay something for all the factors of production. Right? Because they're using this, they have to pay money. Let me give a very simple example. Imagine you will move from point A to point B through Ola. You'll book an Ola, move from point A to point B. Will you pay money to Ola company? I can understand. You'll have to pay. You'll go to a restaurant, purchase food. Right? Will you pay money for this? Of course, you'll have to pay. So argument is just like you, company is using your services. If you disagree, let me know. I will employ you. Company will use your services at the end of the day or at the end of the month. They will have to pay salaries to you. Otherwise, why will you work? It becomes charity. Are you willing to work for charity? Right? I understand this. Imagine all of you pass UPSC examination, all of you become IAS officer, and the government says, or let's say the Prime Minister says, congratulations. Right? All of you work, do hard work, but will not give you any salary. What will you do? Some of you will say, okay, sir, who is joining IAS to get salary? We are not there for salary. We are there for something else. Right? So argument is simple. All of you, right, will work, will provide the services, and you expect certain returns from the company. So the company will use the labor, pay wages. In the same way, company will purchase, right? Company will purchase the machines. Company has to pay money. Company is using the money of investor, the owner of the company. Owner is spending all the resources. Owner is taking the risk. So owner should also get something from the company. Now you tell me, you are the owner of the company. Now, you understand? You have started this particular company ABC. What is your expectation from the company? What do you expect from the company? What you should get from the company? Great. Thank you. Profits. Profits. Wages. Somebody said wages. Being the owner of the company, you don't earn wages, Baba. You earn profits. But please be very careful. You want profits from the company because you are the owner. You're not a worker. You're the owner. You want profits. So is it okay? Is it okay if I say this? If the company uses a factor of production such as land, company has to pay money. If they use labor, company has to pay money. If they use capital such as machinery, company has to pay money. And when they are using the money of, let's say, the owner of the company, when they're using the services of owner of the company, when the owner is taking so much of risk, company has to pay a certain amount of money to the owner also. That is entrepreneur. We will put all of this in a consolidated form like this. Right? Remember this particular table? Simple. I'll explain it. Remember this particular table. We'll be using this again and again. Whenever the company uses land, company pays in return something. Some amount is given, and that amount technically is referred to as rent. I'll repeat the statement. Whenever the company uses something, right, in the form of land, the company will have to pay a certain amount of money because they're using land, and that in economics is referred to as a rent. For example, you use a piece of land, you take a land on rent basis, you'll pay rent on this. Apply the same logic here. So first factor of production, company will use this and pay for this. Pay means factor cost, right? I understand this. Company pays, I think I've written it here. Have a look at this. Company pays, it is cost or the expenditure incurred by the company, right? And when the other person who has supplied this receives the amount, that is called as factor income. I'll give an example so that you understand this. Imagine there is a company, you will work for the company, you will receive wages from the company. The wages are an expenditure for the company. I repeat, the wages are expenditure for the company, whereas the wages are your income. Wages are your earnings. Any doubts, let me know regarding the wages. I'll repeat it again. You will work for a company, I will work for a company. When you provide the services of labor to the company, which is a factor input, company will use that, company will pay wages. When company pays, it is a factor cost for the company. You receive, it is a factor income for you, right? You receive it, it is an income, and it is called as a factor income. Company pays, factor cost. In the same way, labor, wages, right, on two sides. One is a cost for the company, another one is an income for the service provider. When company purchases capital, when they invest on the capital, they need to incur certain expenditure. That is classified as interest. It is classified as interest. It is named as interest. And the one who sells capital to the company will receive the money. It is called as interest. And finally, owner of the company. You have already answered this. Owner of the company, right? Owner of the company will receive the profit from the company. So from the company's account, profits are given to the owner. So owner will receive the profit. For the owner, it becomes factor income. And right, for the company, it becomes a factor cost. These are the four factors of production. And on both the sides, have a look at this. Right, the same parameters are written. But one side, these are the expenditures incurred by the company. I understand. These are expenditures incurred by the company. These are incomes generated in the economy. Example, imagine government. You will provide your labor services to the government. Government will pay you factor income. Government will purchase a machine from another company. Government will pay interest on it. Right. So that is the basic idea. Four factors of production, right? The factor cost as well as factor income. Done. Now, what is the use of all of this? Let me explain. Why should we discuss all of it? Because there is this idea of a capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. Okay, capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. Right. Now, rather than discussing in the table, right, same thing I've given in a different form, much more elaborative form. Let's have a discussion one by one. What is capitalism? What is socialism? What is a mixed economy? Let me start with a very simple example. Imagine, right now your parents will barge into your room. Right, they know that you're attending the classes, but anyways they will come and they simply say, please go and get 2 kg of onion from the market. And I know many of you, sir, who is selling onion in like such a morning? Don't worry. Imagine the shops are open. So your parents will come and ask you to go fetch 2 kg of onion from the market. Right? They need to prepare breakfast. Please go, run and get the onion. You'll say, I'm attending economic class. Very important for me. Wait. And they say, okay. Right, study better, study. And at 9:30 when the class is over, right, finally you will go out. And now your parents are again standing in front of you. They will give you money, give you back, ask you to go to the market and purchase 2 kg of onion. Is it okay if I tell you the process forward like this? You will simply go to the shop, ask how much is the onion price. You will pay money, purchase 2 kg, come back to home. And once you come back to home, your parents will ask, where is the change? Then you realize you'll get the change in the shop itself. That's a different aspect altogether. But the argument is simple. You have gone to the shop, purchase the onion, or you have gone to the market, purchase the onion, and you have come back to the home. Is there any role of the government in the whole transaction? This is the question to you people. Is there any role of the government in the whole transaction, in the whole story that I told you right now? Was there any role of the government? Answer is, but somebody says yes. How? What is the role of the government? They took tax on onion. Right, the role of the government is very minimal. Right, the role of the government is in fact not there here. Why? You've gone to like a seller in the market. You're a buyer. Here's a seller. You negotiated with the seller, paid the price, purchased the onion. That is what is explained in the concept of capitalism in simple terms. In case of capitalism, right, which was proposed by Mr. Adam Smith, father of economics. Mr. Adam Smith, right, basically proposed this idea of capitalism, where he said, in market, the role of the government should be minimal. Right, there should not be any intervention of the government in the market because the private sector, which is the seller here, and the buyer, which is me and you, will negotiate with themselves and come to an agreement. I understand this? The private sector, which is the seller, and me, right, that is the buyer, we will negotiate, come to an agreement. So there should not be any role of the government. Government should not intervene in the market. That is the fundamental idea of capitalism. Role of the government should be minimal. The market should function on itself. Right? There are buyers, there are sellers in the market. They will negotiate. They will arrive at a decision. For example, I want to the shop. I will go to the market. I will hassle with the seller. I will negotiate. And basically, I'll come to an agreement. For example, in this case itself, your mother would have minded you or would have told you or taught you like this. If you go to market, right, to let's say to a vegetable vendor, you ask 1 kg how much? And if the vegetable seller says 1 kg of onion is equal to 40 rupees, the first lesson your mother would have taught you in terms of negotiating is ask them, I will take 1 kg, will you give it at 35 rupees? Or ask them, I want to take 2 kgs. What is the price? How much discount you will give it to me? This is a negotiation tactic. So idea is simple here. The sellers and buyers will talk to themselves or talk to each other, negotiate with each other. They will arrive at an agreement. So role of the government should be minimal. Market is like self will keep on correcting itself. But please understand, some of you simply say, so what if market will start dictating terms? Market will start dictating what at what price I'm supposed to purchase. That will happen if there is a monopoly in the market. What is a monopoly? Whenever there's a single supplier in the market. Whenever there's a single supplier in the market, that is called as a monopoly. Single company, single supplier, it is called as monopoly. Why monopoly is a concern? Monopoly is a concern because if there is a single supplier, you don't have bargaining power. You don't have negotiation power whatsoever. For example, you go to the market. Imagine there's only one vegetable vendor, only one person who's selling onion. Where is the bargaining power? What can you bargain? You look at it and say, right, not a rupee less than 40 rupees per kg. No bargaining. Right, I will not reduce the price. Want to purchase, purchase. If not, go ahead. Right, more side. Other people are waiting. So So the idea is simple here. In capitalism, private sector companies are there. There are multiple private sector companies, right? And because there are multiple private sector companies, they will compete with each other. And when they're competing with each other, competition increases, and the customer will be able to negotiate. How so? Same example, let me continue. You have gone to the first vegetable seller. He says 40 rupees kg, nothing less, nothing more. You immediately go to the next vegetable vendor, try to purchase it at 38 rupees per kg. You have practiced it without realizing it. What you have done is basically the same idea of bargaining in a capitalistic market. Right? In capitalism, competition is high. In order to acquire the customers, basically the companies will compete and keep on adjusting the prices like this. So this model of capitalism was proposed by Mr. Adam Smith. What are the features of the capitalism? There will be private ownership of factors of production. I repeat the statement. In case of the capitalism, there will be private ownership of factors of production. That is, the investment is done by the private sector. The entrepreneurship is from the private sector. The capital, that is, the machineries are purchased by the private sector. Employment is done by the private sector. So whenever in an economy or in a country, if private sector does all of it, government doesn't do it, private sector does it, we call this economy as a capitalistic economy. Have you understand this? Now tell me, a simple question to you. Do you think India is a capitalistic country? You'll have to answer to my questions. Right? Do you think India is a capitalistic country? Whatever investment is done, somebody says yes, sir. How? Whatever investment is done, right? Whatever employment is generated, it is done by the private sector. No, please understand. No, then I'm not basically seeing Indian economy. India is not a capitalistic country, right? I understand. What is India? We'll come to that later. Don't worry. There's a term called as mixed economy. We'll discuss that also. India is not a capitalistic country, right? So why, in case of India, government creates employment, government makes investment, government sets up manufacturing facilities, produces goods, provides the services to all of us. So no, India is not a capitalist country, and for that matter, no country is truly capitalistic today. But one country which is very close to capitalism, right, which they generally refer to as a country which represents most of the features of capitalism, is USA, United States of America. So first feature is private ownership, right? Private ownership, and second feature is in capitalism there is a freedom, right? Freedom for me to purchase any kind of a good that I want to purchase. Why? The main idea for capitalism is that it assumes that people will have money to purchase goods and services. I understand this. Under capitalism, the idea is that the production of goods is done because they know that people will have sufficient money to purchase these goods and services. And if you have money, you'll be able to purchase. If you don't have, you'll not be able to, or you'll not be given access to these goods or services. So there's a freedom of choice. Whether I want to use this particular 100 rupees to purchase, let's say food, I can use this 100 rupees to purchase, let's say vegetables. I can use the same 100 rupees to purchase liquor also. Right? Don't someone will simply say, so Monday morning it's a liquor. I'm not asking you to drink. I'm asking, I'm simply saying that freedom of choice is available to me. I understand. The freedom of choice is there. Right? So that is one more very important feature related to capitalism. Third, role of the government under capitalism is very minimal. Very minimal. The government will restrict itself either to simply provide certain support to the private sector or will provide certain goods or services. Very, very minimal role of the government. Majority of the production, majority of the services supplied will be done by the private sector itself in capitalism. And finally, whenever you talk about capitalism, private sector, at the end of the day, their objective is simple. They want to earn more and more profits. Their objective is profit maximization. They want to increase the amount of the profits they want to earn. Because understand the difference here. Profit, right, is the objective of the private sector. Profit along with the social welfare is the objective of the government. When I say government here, don't strictly associate that with the central government like this. How can you say central government is working for profits? I'm not talking only about the central government. What about the banks owned by the central government? For example, SBI, State Bank of India. Do you think SBI is doing charity? Anybody who thinks SBI is doing charity? Like SBI is doing social welfare. Do you think SBI is doing social welfare? Absolutely no. Yes, it is part of the government, owned by the government. But please understand, to run the activities, right, to sustain the business, they need to earn profit. If they keep on incurring losses, they keep on providing services without any charge. They'll be like, right, okay, you want to use the services, use it. I will not, right, charge anything. In that case, where is the business model? What should they have to pay salaries to SBI employees? You understand? So that is the reason I said government, yes, the social welfare objective is already there, but that's not the only objective. Whenever you talk about government-owned entities, profit is also an objective. But in case of private sector, no objective of social welfare. Whether you're going to use it in the right way or you're going to abuse the product, private sector is not concerned. Private sector is focused on the profit itself. Right? Someone will say, sir, how can we abuse the product? Simple. Right? Alcoholic products. I don't think overconsumption. Best example, Devdas. Right? Overconsumption of alcohol, right? Or let's say tobacco products will injure the health. Right? So basically, you must have seen various advertisements. If you've watched the movie, and I believe all of you watched the movie, right? There is advertisement, cigarette smoking is injurious to health. Right? So what is the idea? Whenever you're going to use these particular products more and more, abuse these products, obviously you will have a negative impact of this. Now somebody said, sir, what about corporate social responsibility then? Let me ask you a very simple question. If you are given a choice, underline the term choice, and that's the reason I raised my voice. If you're given a choice whether to go for corporate social responsibility or not, government says you decide, sir. You want to do good for the economy of society or not? You decide. Will you spend money on, right, social welfare? Will you provide free healthcare to people? Will you provide free education to the, let's say, employed children, etc.? Again, I'm saying you're a private sector company, by the way, not the government, private sector company, and I'm saying you have a choice. Most of you will say no, and please understand, right? I'm not saying you're wrong. Most of the private sector companies say, right, sorry, right, we don't want to spend. Why? Profits. We want profits. Right? So that is the argument here. CSR, corporate social responsibility, is not an option for the companies. It is an obligation. Have you understand this? CSR, corporate social responsibility, is not an option for them. I'm sorry, it is it is not an option for them. It is an obligation. That is the reason they do it. So these are some of the features. Now, what is the merit? Right? What is the merits? Right? The merits of capitalism. One, intervention of the government is lesser. I'll explain why this is the merit. Just give me some time. Second, the resources which are available to them, they will use it efficiently. Private sector is always, right, associated with efficient utilization of resources. The market will become very, very efficient. Why? Private sector competition is very high. When there is a very high competition, private sector investment in research and development will be higher. Private sector will be creating new types of goods. They'll be providing better types of services, etc. Let me give an example so that you understand. I'm pretty sure all of you have ordered the products online. Is there anyone who says so far I've not ordered anything online? But I'm pretty sure at one or other point of time you would have ordered the products online. Let's say, for example, you've ordered a product, right, from Amazon. What kind of service Amazon gives it to you? What kind of service? They'll say within 2 hours we'll deliver it to you. You're not in the home, don't worry. You choose when you want the product to be delivered. You want in the morning slot, you want in the afternoon, you want in the evening. You choose the slot. We will deliver it at that point of time. You don't like the product within 7 days, right? Give it to us. We will either refund the amount, give a credit, or replace the product. So understand the logic here, right? Because there's so much of competition in the market, okay? Right? Because there's so much of competition in the market, the private sector, right, will basically provide a better kind of services to the customers, better type of goods to the customers. Otherwise, what will happen is customers will simply move from one company to another company, and the private sector doesn't want that to happen. And because there's a lot of investment, right? The production increases, employment increases, the overall goods and services which are produced and sold in the market increases. Growth of the economy will start growing at a very faster pace, right? Consumer will be given the prominence. So these are some of the merits associated with, okay? These are the merits associated with the capitalism. Now, what are the issues? There have to be certain issues. How can the system be so perfect? Right? So there have to be issues. What are the issues related to capitalism? One, there is a concentration of wealth. There's always a concentration of wealth. What do you mean by concentration? I'll give an example of India. India is not capitalism, I know that, right? But understand the logic here. Whenever there are people who have a lot of money, invest and own businesses. I understand this. There are people, businessmen, who have a lot of money, invest and own businesses, and keep on earning profit. And they keep on earning profit. Is it okay if I say that these people will keep on growing richer? The businessmen who are already rich, they'll keep on becoming more and more rich. What about other people in the society? What about others in the economy assets? People who are poor will continue to remain poor. People who are there in the middle class, they might slightly move up in the ladder like this. But is it okay if I say that people who are poor will continue to remain poor? People who are already rich, they'll become much more rich. That happens because, please understand this, in capitalism, certain people have a lot of money, they will invest, they will start a business, and they will keep on taking the profits to themselves. They will not give the profits to poor people. They'll keep on taking the profits away, and that will increase their income, their wealth will increase. What about other people in the society? They're already poor, they're working on wages, 5 people in the household, 1 person is working, the house is poor, or the household is poor, will continue to remain poor. This happens because of the model of capitalism. Rich will continue to become richer, but the poor people will continue to remain poor itself. Right? Concentration of incomes, concentration of wealth happens. Right? Can you see that in India? Is it observable in case of India? If anybody says no, let me know. Is there anybody who says that? Right? No, sir, there is no this kind of a classification in India. Everybody earns equal. Everybody is rich. Right? If you're living in that particular mindset, let me know. I'll give you hundreds of examples. So the fact is simple. Because people own a lot of money, they'll continue to become richer. Other people will continue to remain poor. That is concentration of wealth. Second one is income inequality. Do you think in case of a country such as USA or countries such as India, everybody earns equal amount of revenue? I earn X rupees. You might earn Y rupees. Mr. Ambani earns double X or double Y rupees like this. So argument is simple. In the case of capitalism, different people will keep on earning different amount of money. It's not a different amount of money. So income inequality will also exist. Third one. There is a freedom of choice. I said, I can use this for 100 rupees and morning itself I can go purchase alcohol, purchase liquor, purchase tobacco products. That freedom of choice is there for me. And because the private sector knows they are consumers of this product, despite knowing that these products are harmful, they will produce these particular products and push them in the market. Is it okay? They will produce these products and push those products in the market. For example, tobacco products. Don't you think a lot of the companies will push these products in a different way altogether? Right? There are liquor products. Right? I'll give you an example. Right? There is a product by the name of Kingfisher. Right? And I'm pretty sure you must have seen the name Kingfisher associated with the music series. You must have seen Kingfisher drinking water, etc. Argument is simple. They're pushing the products. They're marketing the products because they know that. Right? They simply know that they are consumers in the market. We will sell it to them. We will earn more and more profit. But if I keep on consuming these particular products, it is harmful for me. Right? But doesn't matter. It is capitalism. In capitalism, even the products which can cause harm will be produced, will be sold for earning profit. Next, there are class conflicts. That is rich class, poor class, right? Middle class, upper middle class, lower middle class. Right? There is a friction always between these particular classes. Rich class and poor class. There is a friction like this. So class conflicts can happen because of capitalism. And finally, there is one issue called as a concept of business cycle. I'll not discuss this today. Under the concept of national income, when I discuss GDP, we'll have a discussion on the idea of business cycle. So whenever any country, right, whenever any country follows a model of capitalism or follows certain features of capitalism, there is bound to be right this kind of a situation. That is where economy will go very fast, fall down, economy will go very fast, fall down, etc. Like this. Let me give you a current affairs example so that you understand. What do you think has been the performance of economy in the last 2 years? Has Indian economy performed very well, or there was an impact on the economy, or economy has suffered? Two things, one of the two things. Has Indian economy performed very well or Indian economy has suffered? You know the answer. Indian performance or the economic performance was poor. It has suffered. And that is the basic idea of the business cycle itself. Why it happens and why it happened in India, we'll understand it later. Please don't worry. Don't worry, we'll understand one by one. Right, today's the first class. Let's not bundle up everything today itself. When I discuss GDP, I'll tell you the concept of business cycle. So any economy which follows certain features of capitalism is bound to face the issue of business cycles. So these are the demerits. Right, so based on this, you can come to know now. India is not truly a capitalism. Right, no way. India is not true. He is not following the model of capitalism. But yes, we have taken certain features of capitalism. We'll come to that. Just give me some time. Okay. Next, concept of socialism. The idea of socialism. Right, in case of socialism, right, what are the features? First and foremost, on one side we have capitalism, where private sector ownership is there. There's a private sector ownership. On the opposite side, we have socialism. In case of socialism, the private sector is not owning the factors of production. Rather, it is the government. Rather, it is the government which owns the factors of production. That is, in case of socialism, it is the government which will make an investment. It is the government which will produce the goods. Government will sell the goods. Government will decide what kind of goods you're supposed to consume, etc. So, idea of socialism is simple. Here in socialism, there is this concept of collective ownership. There is this concept of collective ownership. Right? That is, the ownership of factors of production lies with the government on behalf of the people. Private sector is not allowed to own the factors of production in socialism. Is there a true socialistic economy right now? No, there is not true socialism today. But very close examples of socialism is earlier Cuba, Venezuela. Right? These were very close examples of socialism, where government decided, right, how many goods will be produced. Government decided what kind of goods will be produced. Government decided what kind of goods you people will consume. So whenever the answer to these questions is government, the idea is simply socialism. And if I simply say the production is done by the private sector, the freedom of choice is there. You can decide what you want to consume. You have money, you can purchase. Idea is capitalism. Simple differences. When there is a choice, capitalism. Private sector, capitalism. When there is absence of choice, when government decides everything, that is socialism. Because understand the logic here. Generally, in a country which follows a socialism, the government will plan, government will implement the plan, government will make investment, government will set up companies, etc. Everything is done by the government itself. And that is the reason generally those particular countries, right, which are following centrally planned economy. Remember the terms here? Which follow centrally planned economy or central command economy. Central command economy, etc. Like basically these are very close to the idea of socialism. Right? So where government plans everything, government implements everything, government will set up the companies, government will decide what is good for you, what is bad for you. For example, imagine today government of India announces, imagine, I'm not saying it has been done, imagine today government of India announces that liquor will be abolished. I understand. Imagine government of India does. Liquor, I will not allow you to consume. Very harmful for you. So no liquor from today. Yes, most of the whole Indian economy will right, revolt against it. But anyways, the concept is that government is deciding. Government is taking a decision what you're supposed to consume, what you're not supposed to consume. That is the feature of socialism. That is the concept of socialism. So one, resources in case of socialism are owned by the government. Resources in the socialism are owned by the government. And government will set up companies. Through companies, they will produce goods, they will supply goods, they will sell the goods to the people. Second, idea of socialism is also associated with central planning, where government plans for the economy, implements the plan, invests in the economy, etc. Third one, the government says we will follow socialism so that we can provide maximum benefit to the people. People are poor. I will create employment, uplift to the people. In case of capitalism, rich people are investing, they are simply taking away the profits. But in socialism, government says private will not invest, the private sector will not take away the profit. I'm doing this for your benefit. So maximizing social benefit is the objective of socialism. And there is absence of competition because government will set up the companies, private sector is absent, competition is absent. So what are the merits of socialism? It will reduce inequalities right, in the economy. In fact, the whole idea of socialism originated as a reaction to capitalism. I'll repeat the statement here. The whole idea of socialism originated as a reaction and as an opposition to capitalism. Because in capitalism, people who are rich will continue to grow rich, people who are poor will continue to remain poor. Now governments in many countries say, no, we will not allow that to happen. Right? We will create employment. We will ensure that profits are not taken away by the people. Profits will be again flowed back into the economy itself. That is a reduction of inequalities. Second, resources will be allocated by the government based on what is required for the economy. We will not simply keep on producing all the goods and services. What is required for the economy? For that, I will allocate the resources. Decision is done by the government, central planned economy. And finally, the government will promote welfare of the people. Right? They will promote development of industries. They will promote education. They will promote healthcare sector. They will provide welfare schemes to the poor people, etc. These are some of the merits associated with the concept of that's socialism. Next, what are the demerits? If these are the merits, again, how can a particular system be so perfect? There are no perfect systems. So what are the demerits? Demerits are one, there is a lot of bureaucracy. lot of bureaucracy, right? That is, as there is a lot of bureaucracy, it will lead to red tapeism. A new term for this. It will lead to red tapeism. What do you mean red tapeism here? Red tapeism simply refers to set of rules or guidelines which are implemented by the government, which itself will cause the delay in the process. I will repeat the statement here. Red tapeism simply means the rules or the regulations which are implemented by the government, which itself is the cause of the delay. I'll give you an example. Imagine you want to set up a manufacturing facility in India. You're a millionaire or a billionaire for that matter. You want to set up, right, a manufacturing facility. Now government will say you need to get 5 licenses from the central government, another 5 licenses from the state government, and these 5 licenses you have to get from different ministries altogether, and state government again 5 different ministries. Can you imagine the time it will take for you to get all the licenses? So government, in order to provide or in order to promote production, has set up a system in such a way that the system itself is causing a delay. That is called as red tapeism. Right? So because in case of the socialism, government does everything. Right? Government does everything doesn't mean that prime minister will come and start approving applications like this. Bureaucrats are appointed, government officials are there. You'll have to keep on running from one government official to another, to the third, to the fourth, which will cause a huge delay. And there is also concern over the corruption which can be caused because of this. A lot of corruption can be caused because of bureaucratic processes. Next, there is absence of competition. There is no competition here because there is no private sector. When there is no private sector, there is absence of competition. Is there any incentive to, let's say, the public sector, or let's say the companies owned by the government, is there any incentive for them to invest more? Is there any incentive for them to use the resources very efficiently, etc.? Let me give a very simple example so that you understand. Imagine there is only one bank in India, SBI. Imagine there is only one bank in India, State Bank of India, SBI. Now do you think SBI will be very efficient? Have you got an experience regarding dealing with the SBI? How many of you have gone to SBI bank either to deposit money or to withdraw money? And how much? What was your experience? Was it very nice? Right? You felt like going back again, etc. So understand the problem here. Imagine this is the only bank in India. As such, right now they're not courteous. They're simply like, you want sit? I will call your number. Then you come. Otherwise, go. And this is the kind of behavior that they generally exhibit. Right? So imagine this is the only bank in India. No competition. What will be the situation? Do you think they will be improving their processes? Do you think they'll be introducing new technology? They will invest in research and development. Do you think that will happen? Absolutely no. They will not do that. That is exactly what I'm trying to say here. Right? If there is no competition, because government controls everything, where is the incentive to increase efficiency? Where is the incentive to increase productivity, etc. Right? And finally, you as a person might be having money, but the government will decide what kind of goods you are supposed to consume. If these are, let's say, harmful goods, the government might simply say will not produce, will not allow them for sales in the market. So there is a limited choice for you. There is a limited choice. You do not have all the available products that you get under capitalism. Right? So these are the demerits related to the concept of socialism. Now you people tell me, do you think India follows socialism? Simple question to you people. Do you think India follows socialism? No. India does not follow that socialism. What we follow in India, right, the concept before break. We'll take a break after this. Don't worry. Most of you worried about the break itself. India follows a model called as mixed economy. Right, by the way, the term mixed economy is mentioned in the industrial policy of 1948. Remember this. Government of India, after independence, announced the first industrial policy of 1948. And in this particular industrial policy of 1948, government announced that India will be a mixed economy. India will be a mixed economy. Right, what do you mean a mixed economy? Simple idea here. We will take some of the features of capitalism. We'll take some of the features of socialism. What do you mean by this? In a mixed economy, take example India itself. India is a mixed economy, by the way. In a mixed economy, the government will control some of the factors of production. So is the private sector. That is, the private sector is investing, government is also investing. Private sector is creating employment, government is also creating employment. So whenever in an economy, both private sector as well as the government, right, will control the factors of production. Both of them have ownership of factors of production. That economy is referred as a mixed economy. That model is called as mixed economy. Now what are the features? Just imagine India, you understand. Let's just look at the feature of India, you understand this. Right, what are the features? Ownership of factors of production is between both private sector as well as the government. Second, right, both private sector as well as the government will try to provide solutions to the economic problems. What do you mean by economic problems here? What to be produced? Some of the goods will be provided by the government, others private sector. How much to be produced? In cases of some of them, government will decide. In others, private sector will decide. And at what price to be sold? Government will decide. Private sector will also decide. So in the concept of mixed economy, the decisions are taken, the participation is done by both the private sector as well as the government sector. And private sector has certain freedom, but remember this: overall control of the economy, overall control over the economy is always there with the government. For example, in case of India, can government of India decide which company should be allowed to enter into India, which company should be allowed to manufacture good, or whether the company should be allowed in the first place to manufacture or not? Have you understand the statement here? Can government of India decide that? Of course, yes. Today, government of India wants, so they can simply announce no company, private sector company is allowed to produce liquor. They can do that. If government of India wants to, right, they can simply announce government will not be conducting any operations of the railways, will simply allow operations of the railways only to private sector. Can the government do that? Of course, yes. So remember this: the participation is there from both private as well as the government, but overall control of the economy is always right there with the government. That is, the reins of the economy is always with the government. Right? The best example, government of India. Best example is government of India. Right? If you don't understand this, let me give you an example so that you understand this. Today in the civil aviation market, there are a lot of private sector companies. Any doubts here so far? In the civil aviation market, there are a lot of private sector companies. In telecom sector, a lot of private sector companies are there. Earlier, this was not the situation. Have you understand this? Earlier, this was not the situation. Earlier, government of India simply said, telecom sector, only I will provide the services. BSNL, right? Have you understand? BSNL was the only company we had earlier. Along with BSNL, government later set up, right, BSNL, so on and so forth. Right? But anyways, the idea is very simple here. Government can decide because it has the overall control of the right economy. What are the merits? You can experience a growth in the economy which follows a mixed economic model because private sector is investing. And generally, the private sector investment is associated with higher production, higher employment, higher supply of goods and services, etc. You can also experience a balanced growth. What do you mean by balanced growth? If you allow only the private sector to invest, if you give the choice, freedom to the private sector, they will try to concentrate in only some of the areas where they can get access to raw material, where the labor is available, etc. But government of India will not do that. What government of India does is, if private sector wants to run behind this, government says, I will try to open up industries in different cities. I will try to open up companies in different areas so that in other areas also development takes place. In other areas also employment is generated. In other areas also the production of goods and services, demand for raw materials is present. Right? That is the meaning of the term balanced growth. Proper utilization of the resources, because private sector is present, obviously we expect proper utilization, and government will protect the interest of all the sections of the people. Right? Can I apply this particular statement to government of India? The government of India have many schemes to promote welfare of poor people in India, to promote welfare of right, SC, ST categories, to promote welfare of tribal populations. Of course, yes. Right? That is the feature. Right? And finally, demerits. What are the demerits related to mixed economy? One, because government will set up a lot of public sector companies. What do you mean by public sector companies? Companies which are owned by the government. I'll repeat it. Public sector companies are owned by the government. Let me give a simple example. Steel Authority of India Limited, SAIL, public sector company. Right? Or for that matter, latest one, LIC, Life Insurance Corporation, public sector organization. So our argument is the public sector entities, there is always a concern that they may not perform very well. Right? Best example is in India. Right? So don't just say LIC is performing very well. If you look at earlier, right, 3 decades ago, 4 decades ago, we had a lot of public sector companies. Today the numbers are much lesser compared to what we had earlier, let's say in 70s or 80s. Why? A lot of these public sector entities did not perform well, incurred a lot of losses. Right? The reason is simple here. Whenever these are owned by the government, they are not focused on efficiency. They are not focused on investment in R&D. Right? Because they are unable to compete in the market, they will incur losses, forced to do shut down. So inefficiency in the public sector is a concern. There is always a fear of nationalization. Let me explain this. There are two terms: nationalization and privatization. Nationalization and privatization. What do you mean by nationalization? Whenever the ownership will be transferred from the private sector to government, it is called as nationalization. Any doubts? Let me know. Whenever the ownership is transferred from the private sector to the government, it will be referred as nationalization. Example, earlier banks have been nationalized. We'll discuss this later, don't worry. Earlier in 1970 and 1980, the banks have been nationalized. Opposite of that is privatization. Ownership will be transferred from the government to the private sector. Current affairs example, Air India. The best example in the current affairs is Air India. Air India until now was owned by the government of India. Now it has been transferred to a private sector company, that is Tata company. So whenever the privatization is done, ownership moves like this. Whenever nationalization is done, ownership will move from the private sector to the government. So because I said the complete control of the economy is there with the government, there is always a fear amongst the market or fear in the market that government might simply go for nationalization. The ownership will be taken away from us. And finally, like despite following a mixed economy, there will be income inequality in a country. Why? Because there is a presence of the private sector. Government is there, but there is a presence of the private sector. And wherever there is a presence of the private sector, there will be income inequalities. Certain people will be earning very high, certain people will be earning very low, certain people will not be earning anything. That is income inequality. Right? So these are some of the demerits or issues related to the mixed economy. Right? So India follows the mixed economy. These are the features associated with the mixed economy. Done? So let's take a break. Before taking a break, let me address some of your questions. So, sir, there is it is up to the government. When you start a company, entities all together. Now, the commerce students are, let's say, the law students, a very common term. Entrepreneur is the latest one. That is the one who has started the business very new. Imagine the company, which is the expenditure 100. Factor income is your income, earnings, which is 100, one and the same. But only factor cost for the entrepreneur. You own a company. What do you expect from the company? You expect investments? No. What you get in return is called as profit. Right? What you earn is profit. Means negotiation, the exploitation of resources more efficiently, or private government will construct it. They can abuse the labor. Abuse in the sense they pay very low labor. That is also efficiency. The idea is, I stated that there is no incentive for them to become efficient. Incentive do not always assume that it is money. I stated that because there is no competition, right? If the competition is there, they want to earn more profit, and in order to earn more profit, they become much more efficient. They improve the productivity of the workers. They will bring better technology. But in case of, let's say, the socialism, there is no competition. Only one company is there. There is no incentive for them. Right? Anyways, right? Right, I'll restart after 5 minutes. Time is 8:03 my clock. I will start at 8:08. Take a 5 minutes break. Okay, welcome back. If there is no issue with the sound, can you give me a thumbs up? Either put a comment or thumbs up, anything is okay. Okay, right. Let's continue. Let's start. So what have we discussed so far? Right. So we have discussed one definition of economics. Second, after the definition, we have discussed the idea of we have discussed the concept of 4 factors of production. Then we have discussed different types of models, or let's say the systems that can be followed by countries, that is capitalism, socialism, and mixed economy. And let's go ahead. Next concept that I want to discuss with you people is the idea of opportunity cost. OC, opportunity cost. Now, what is opportunity cost? First and foremost, let me start with the definition. Opportunity cost refers to the potential benefit or returns which are foregone when one alternative is chosen over the other. That is the definition. Okay. So opportunity cost is the potential benefit that you forego or you lose when you choose one choice, or when you make one choice over the next best alternative that is available to you. What do you mean by this? Right. Let me show you. Let me give an example. Right. Imagine you have 100 rupees. Okay. You have 100 rupees. You have 2 options here. Option 1, you can use this 100 rupees to keep it in a bank. FD is nothing but a fixed deposit. Right? Don't panic with the term FD. FD is a fixed deposit. What is an FD? You take the money, you keep it in the bank, let's say for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, as per your requirement, and after that period is over, either based on your choice, they will pay the interest to you. Right? The bank will pay the interest to you. So that is the basic idea of the fixed deposit. So one option that you have, right, you can keep this 100 rupees in the form of fixed deposit. Or the second option that you have is, you can take the 100 rupees, start a business. Okay, start a business. Now understand this. Some of you will go with option 2, some of you will go with option 1. And again, there is no fixed answer here. So which is better? Entirely dependent on your choice. I can understand. Entirely dependent on you. Right? There is no fixed answer. There is no correct answer here. Some of you simply say, sir, right, I don't want to take a risk by starting a business. I don't know whether I'm going to earn or not. I don't want to waste my 100 rupees. Fixed deposit is very safe investment for me. Very safe, because there is no risk there. I will keep the 100 rupees, and after 1 year, right, after 1 year, I simply get the interest. So you might simply say, I will sacrifice. I will ignore the second option. I will go with the first option. And some of you might simply say, sir, no, I want to take risk in life. Right? I'm that kind of a person. I want to take some risk, because if it clicks, if the business performs well, right, in the future, I might end up earning crores of rupees. Right? I might earn huge amount of money in the later part of life. That is your choice. But let's say some of you will go with option 1, right, and you ignore option 2. Some of you will go with option 2 and ignore option 1. Because understand this. Right? Don't ask me, sir, why can't I choose both? Right? That is not possible. Why? The concept of economics stands on the idea of scarcity. You have only 100 rupees. You have only 100 rupees, and you have to make one choice. You'll have to sacrifice the other choice. So let's say you chose option 2. You took your 100 rupees. You invested in the business. Okay? You invested in the business, and after 1 year, right, you have not earned anything. You have not earned anything. Right? You're still right. You're still in the process of setting up the business. Right? The work has started. You have not earned anything. No profits. Nothing. Now, if you compare that with the other option, right, obviously you're comparing that with the option that you have sacrificed. You have not used. You'll realize that rather than investing 100 rupees in the business, if I'd simply taken that 100 rupees, put it in the FD, today I would be having 6 rupees along with the 100 rupees with me. I do understand this. I'll repeat it again. You have chosen the second option by sacrificing the option 1. After 1 year, you're basically looking at it and saying, rather than investing in the business, if I had kept that 100 rupees in the bank, I would have earned 6 rupees on this 100 rupees now. But today, I've not taken that route. I did not use option 1, rather I chose option 2. So I don't have this earning of 6 rupees today. I know the investment is there, 100 rupees investment is there, but that 6 rupees which I could have earned in the FD, that 6 rupees is not there with me. This is nothing but the concept of opportunity cost. Is okay? This is nothing but the concept of opportunity cost. What is an opportunity cost? The potential benefit that you lose, or you forego. Forego means losing only. The potential benefit that you lose when you tend to make one choice over the other choice. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. The potential benefit that you forego or the potential benefit that you lose because you've sacrificed one option and have chosen the next best option. Right? That is the concept of opportunity cost. Now understand this. Opportunity cost can be negative. Opportunity cost can be positive also. Have you understand this? OC. I'll start using the concept here. OC can be positive as well as OC can be negative. How? So how can OC be negative and how can OC be positive? Right? I'll continue the same example. In the first case, you went with option 2. You sacrificed the option 1. Right? You did not go with option 1. You went with option 2. So after one year, when you're looking at it, you are basically realizing that by investing in the business, I did not earn anything. Right now there is no earning. But rather than that, if I kept the same 100 rupees, right, in the FD, I would have earned 6 rupees. Is it okay? If I kept that 100 rupees in the FD, I would have earned right 6 rupees. So if you have chosen option 1 or if you have chosen option 2, let me start with 2. Because you have chosen option 2 or option 1, you have lost an opportunity to earn 6 rupees. I'll repeat it again. Right? I'll repeat it. Because you've gone with option 2, ignoring option 1, you have lost an opportunity to earn 6 rupees. So whenever you make choices like this, you end up losing an opportunity to earn an extra amount. You lose an opportunity to earn extra profit like this. We will simply say opportunity cost is negative. Any doubts so far? Let me know. Any doubts so far? Any doubts so far? Let me know. Great. Right? Now, what if, right, someone will say, sir, no, right, I did not choose option 2, I went with option 1. Then what is the opportunity cost here? Right, did I have any opportunity cost? Of course, yes. Because you chose option 1, sacrificed option 2, you have earned 6 rupees. Now you're comparing. If I made an investment in the business, no earnings, but because I invested in an FD, I've earned 6 rupees. So you've made a benefit of 6 rupees. You've earned 6 rupees. So whenever you earn money like this, right, because of your choice, whenever you earn additional benefit like this, we'll simply say opportunity cost is positive. I'll repeat it again. What do you mean by opportunity cost? Simple. Don't complicate everything here. There are options available to you. And the problem is you do not have all the resources to take care of all the options. Not possible. Because some of you in this example will say, sir, what if I have 200? I will invest 100 in FD, 100, right, in, let's say, in the business. Maybe, right, let me give you another example then. Imagine you're given 2 job options. Company A, right, will give you 1 job offer. Company B will give you another job offer. But both of them are in 2 different cities. Can you do both the jobs? I understand. Can you do both the jobs? No, that is not possible. Right, I'll give you another example. You're selected in UPSC, right, and you become IS officer. Or you are given an option of becoming an IS officer. At the same point of time, you are a very good economist. You have received an offer from the World Bank. You have received a job offer from the World Bank. Not any bank in India, World Bank, mind you. Can you do both? Not possible. You'll have to choose one over the other. So understand the logic here. Generally, when you talk about the opportunity cost, there are 2 options available to you. Both are the best options, but please understand, you cannot choose both of them. You'll have to sacrifice one, choose the other. And because you're sacrificing one and choosing the other, what is the potential benefit that you've foregone? That is called as opportunity cost. In this example, if you choose option 2 and sacrifice option 1, you have foregone, you've lost an opportunity to earn 6 rupees. And because you've lost an opportunity, I'll simply say opportunity cost is negative. And if you choose option 1 or option 2, then you have basically made, because of your choice, you have made extra 6 rupees. Your earning is 6 rupees. I'll simply say opportunity cost is positive then. Right? So this is how opportunity cost is calculated. Now, there is one more term, right? That is basically a similar. The other term for opportunity cost is alternative cost. Remember this. Another name for opportunity cost is alternative cost. And some of you are asking, sir, can there be opportunity cost is equal to 0? Can there be a situation where opportunity cost is equal to 0? Of course, yes. There is a situation. Whenever a good is classified as a free good, remember this. Whenever a good is classified as a free good, right? In that particular case, opportunity cost is 0. What is a free good? Anything that is available free of a cost for you in the market is called as a free good. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. What is a free good? Right? Whenever a good is available free of a cost, that is you don't have to pay anything for this particular good. It is called as a free good. Best example, the air that is available around us. Surrounding us, there is air. Do you need to pay money to inhale air? Right? If that's the situation, you're in a wrong city. What about sunlight? Do you need to pay money to get access to sunlight? No. So these kind of goods are referred to as free goods. And remember this, in the context of free goods, such as air, such as sunlight, opportunity cost is equal to 0. Right? There is no sacrifice. You don't have to pay anything. It is available free of a cost to you. OC is equal to 0. Done? Right? So these are some of the points regarding opportunity cost. I've given the formula. Please go to this. Right? Option return that you get from option 1 minus the return that you get from option 2 is basically the formula for opportunity cost. Done. So let me go to the next one. But sir, in case of positive opportunity cost, we are not losing the benefit. How is it called opportunity cost? Understand this. The basic definition is the potential benefit that you have foregone. That's the definition. But please understand the logic here. Opportunity cost calculation. Right? Calculation I'm saying. Right? You can get an opportunity cost which is positive or which is negative. Only in the case of calculation, if you choose 1 over 2, you are gaining from that decision. You are not losing. But that is also opportunity cost itself. Because you have chosen 1 over 2, you are gaining. Done. Okay. Next concept, law of demand. Okay. Law of demand. We'll be discussing 2 laws here. Law of demand, law of supply. Let me start with the first one. Law of demand. Now, whenever you talk about demand, right, first and foremost, understand this. Whatever goods you demand in the market is dependent, okay, is dependent on multiple factors. I'll repeat the statement here. Whatever, right, whatever you demand in the market. For example, you will have a demand for a mobile phone. You'll have a demand for a flask. You'll have a demand for, let's say, a laptop, etc. Whatever you're going to demand in the market, that particular demand is dependent on multiple factors. What are these particular factors? First one is, what is the price of the commodity? Right? What is the price of the commodity? Is it okay if I say that one of the most important factors that will determine whether we purchase a good or not is the price of the product itself? I'll repeat it. Understand the statement very carefully. Is it okay if I say that the most important factor that will determine whether, right, whether we are going to, right, whether we are going to purchase this particular good or service or not, right, it is the price of the good itself. Right? So why many of the times we look at the price of the good or price of the product in the market, either come to a conclusion, okay, let me purchase this, or we'll simply decide, no, I don't want to purchase it, it is very, very costly. Right? So price of the good, price of the commodity is the first very important factor. Then there is a price of the related good. Then there is a concept of price of related good. Right? What is this price of the related goods? Let me have a discussion on related goods, and then we'll come back to this. Don't worry, I'll come back. Right? Don't say, sir, you're skipping slides. I'll come back, don't worry. There is a set of goods. Okay, there are a set of goods which are referred to as substitute goods and complementary goods. Can you all see this new slide? Let me know if there is an issue. Can you all see this particular new slide? Right, a substitute good and a complementary good. Now, what do you mean by substitute and complementary? By the way, whenever you say related good, these are 2 types. One is a substitute good, it is there here, and the second one is a complementary good. But first and foremost, what do you mean by related good? What's the definition of related good? Related goods are those goods. I repeat, related goods are those goods where the variation of price in one good will have an impact on demand for another good. I'll repeat the statement here. What do you mean by, right, a related good? Variation in the price of one good will have an impact on demand for another good. Right? Is it okay? If there is any issue with the definition, let me know. Any issue with the definition, let me know. If there is a variation in the price of one good, there is, right, an impact on the demand for another good. Price of one good changes, demand for another good is affected. How difficult is it? Price of good A changes, demand for another good changes. Simple definition, Baba. I'm not even throwing any difficult terms at you. Right? Now, the 2 types of related goods are substitute goods, complementary goods. Let me start with substitute goods. Example, tea and coffee. Example, tea and coffee. What do you mean by substitute good? These are the goods which are consumed individually. I will repeat the statement. Right? These are the goods which are consumed individually. You don't have to combine them. You can consume them individually. For example, either you'll drink tea or you'll drink coffee. Is there anyone who says, I will mix both of them and drink? I understand this, right? Either you drink tea or you drink coffee. That's it. You'll not mix both of them and drink. These are called as substitutes. Because when you go to a restaurant or let's say a hotel, you'll either purchase a tea or you'll purchase coffee. Right? For example, imagine 10 of your friends have gone to a restaurant. Let's say a couple of them will order for tea, couple of them will order for coffee. So whenever you can consume these particular goods individually without combining them, these are called as the substitutes. Because right now, what is the requirement? You feel like having a hot beverage. Have you understand this? You can, right? You want to have a hot beverage, and when you want to have a hot beverage, you'll either drink tea or you'll drink coffee. You'll not mix both of them. That's the first one. So it's still confusing. You want to have soft drink or cold drinks, soft drink or cold drink. Right? What will you drink? Either you drink Coca-Cola, Thumbs Up, you drink, let's say Pepsi, or do you purchase all the three, mix all of them and drink? You do that? No. So understand this. Whenever you say the substitute goods, right? Whenever you say that the substitute goods, these are set of goods which are consumed individually. These are not consumed in combination. These are consumed individually. Now, right? Understand this. What is the issue here? Imagine you go to a hotel, you go to a restaurant, and you see that the price of the tea has increased. Right? Start answering the last question now. You go to a restaurant and you see that the price of tea has increased. Will you purchase tea or will you purchase coffee? Right? Simple question. You go to a restaurant, price of tea has increased. So how much? I'll throw numbers. Imagine last week both the tea and coffee were 10 rupee. Now you're going to the same hotel, price of tea has increased to 12 rupee. Now will you purchase tea or coffee? Right? Most of us will simply say, sir, we'll simply shift. Right? We'll simply start drinking coffee. Why? Compared to tea, coffee has become cheaper. I understand this? Compared to tea, coffee has become cheaper. So because coffee is still 10 rupees, I will purchase. Now look at the definition of related goods. Look at the definition of related goods. Whenever a price change happens in one good, as a result of that, the demand for another good is affected. I'll repeat it again, don't get confused. Whenever price of one good changes, because of this, demand for another good changes. Has it happened in tea and coffee? Price of tea has increased. Has it led to higher demand for coffee? If it is not clear, let me know itself. If it is a problem, let me know. Price of tea has increased. You looked at it and said, no tea now. Let me jump to coffee. Done. Related goods. Change in one good, price of one good will affect change in the demand for another good. So these types of goods are called as substitute goods. Right? These are referred to as substitutes. Second set of goods, complementary goods. Best example, petrol and car. Petrol and car. That is, the complementary goods are those set of goods which have to be combined for consumption. I'll repeat the statement here. Right? These are set of goods which have to be combined in order to consume them. And whenever I use the term consume, do not take the literal meaning. I understand this. For a layman, for a common man, consumption means what? Eating. But in economics, do not take the literal meaning of the consumption. For example, I say people will consume car. Do not imagine that you will go and start eating car. No, that is not the meaning of the term consumption. Consumption simply means you're using. You'll purchase a car, you'll consume car. You'll purchase a TV, you'll consume TV. You'll purchase a mobile, you'll consume mobile. And when I say you'll consume mobile, do not literally imagine you will eat a mobile. No, using a mobile. That is the meaning. So is it okay if I say if you purchase car, you don't have option, but you have to purchase petrol? I understand this. Can you purchase a car and keep on running with water? No. If there is such car, please let me know. I want all of them. Right? So you purchase the car, you have to purchase fuel. Because some of you say no, sir, you're wrong. I don't purchase petrol. I will purchase a diesel. Then I will write a diesel plus car. Is it okay? Diesel plus car. Can you purchase a diesel car and right? You will not purchase a diesel at all. Can that happen? No. Some of you say, sir, what about electric car? I will change this to electricity plus car. I understand this. You can use many permutation combination. So CNG cylinder, CNG plus car, whatever it is. There are groups of goods like this. There are more than one goods which have to be combined and then consumed. I'll give you another classic example. You would have already consumed it. All of you have drank tea just now. Tea or coffee doesn't matter. You have drank tea or coffee. Let me take an example of tea. Milk plus tea powder. Milk plus tea powder. These are nothing but complementary goods. Right? You don't eat the tea powder. Is there anyone who eats that? Stop it. So can you eat the tea powder? Individually can you consume? No. You'll have to mix that with milk, water, then gas. Somebody say no water, sir. Right? Only milk. So milk plus right, the tea powder, you'll get tea. So understand the logic here. In case of complementary goods, certain goods have to be consumed in combination. In case of substitute goods, right? These are the goods which are consumed individually. Now we have discussed the price and demand combination in the substitute. Let me discuss price and demand combination in complementary goods. Imagine you're thinking of purchasing a car. Have you understand this? Imagine you're thinking of purchasing a car. Now you realize that prices of petrol are very high. Right? You look at the petrol prices and you realize, I know, petrol prices are very, very high. I will not be able to afford. Why? Right now I'm using a two-wheeler, right, which gives me a mileage of 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers, 50 kilometers, etc. But if I purchase a car, right, it will hardly give me a mileage of 15, 18, 20 kilometers. So I cannot afford it. So because of a rise in the petrol prices, what you've done? Your demand for the car has changed. Have you understand this? I'll repeat it so that you understand this. You wanted to purchase a car, price of the car increase, the price of the petrol rises up. You look at it and basically say, no, not possible. I will not be able to say, sir, if that is the case, why don't you shift and purchase an electricity car? Why don't you simply purchase an electricity car? So what has happened? Because of the petrol prices, either people will stop or will reduce the demand for cars, or else they'll basically say, rather than purchasing a petrol car, I will purchase an electricity car. But either ways, has the demand for the cars got affected? I understand this. Either ways, has the demand for the car getting affected? Of course, yes. So that is the reason these are called as complementary goods. Price change in one product having an impact on another product. Demand for another product. Complementary goods. So any doubts so far? Let me know. Any doubts so far related to related goods, substitute goods as well as complementary goods? Done. Thank you. Let me go back to the earlier discussion. What was the earlier discussion? The issue of right the factors of demand, factors affecting the demand. This is very well. Let's continue. So price of the commodity when it is right. When you want to purchase a commodity or product, price will have an impact. Second, price of the related goods will also have an impact on the demand in the market. Just know we have established that. Third, income of the consumer. Right? Will your income have an impact on what kind of goods you're going to demand in the market? If your income is 1 lakh rupees, you'll be demanding different types of goods. Your income is let's say 50,000, different types of goods. Your income is 10 lakh rupees, different types of goods. So what kind of income you have, that will also determine for what kind of goods and services you will have a demand in the market. Then the taste and the preferences. The taste and right preferences. Will your taste and preference determine what kind of good you will purchase? For example, so how can taste and preference determine what I purchase? Imagine you want right. Imagine you are a gamer. You want a particular laptop with very, very high processing speed. So will you go and purchase a normal laptop which is costing 20,000, 30,000? Absolutely no. Right? The gaming laptops will cost you 1.5 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees, etc. Imagine you are strict to vegan. You don't consume milk, you don't consume this, etc., etc. Will that have an impact on what kind of goods and services you purchase on the market? Imagine you are a non-vegetarian. Will that not have an influence on what kind of foods you will purchase on the market? So have you understand what is my taste and preference? What is my taste and preference? That will determine what kind of goods and services I will demand from the market. I'll give you another example. Imagine you're a follower of, let's say, Mr. Virat Kohli or MS Dhoni. When they endorse a brand, when they say, right, purchase this, like this, will it not influence your buying behavior? Will it not be more tilted towards purchasing a product which you are, right, let's say, Icon has endorsed in the market? Have you understand that? So my taste and preference will also determine what kind of goods or services I will purchase from the market. So these are some of the factors. These are some of the factors which you will have, or which you basically will have an impact on what kind of goods or services you will demand in the market. Done? Now, let me go to law of demand. Let me go to law of demand. What is the law of demand? This is a statement. Have a look at this. If all the factors remain unchanged, then higher the price of the good, the demand will be lower. And if the price of the good becomes lower, demand will be higher. I'll repeat the statement here. I will repeat the statement. Right? The law of demand simply states that if all the other factors remain unchanged, what do you mean all the other factors? Your taste and preference doesn't change. your income doesn't change. Right? The price of the related goods doesn't change. Nothing else changes. Only the price of the good will change. And the law of demand says that when the price of the demand will change, the price of the good will change, the demand for the product will also change. But how? How it will change? Simply remember, price is inversely related to demand. Price is inversely related to demand. That is, if the price of the product moves upwards, goes up higher, the demand will go down. And if the price of the product goes down, demand for the product will go up. Is it okay? I'll repeat it again. Simple concept. Don't complicate all the things here. Law of demand simply states, if nothing else in the market changes, nothing else means what? Your taste and preference, your income, price of the related goods, nothing changes. And only the price of the product changes. In such cases, price and demand will move in opposite direction. If price rises up, demand goes down. And if price goes down, demand goes up. That is the law of demand. Is it okay? That is the law of demand. Any doubt related to law of demand, let me know. Any doubt related so far? Rather than telling me, sir, this will not work here, it will not work here, I'll discuss that. Please wait. By the way, when you keep on telling me this, I know you have an economics background already. So far, so good. So far, so good. Now, there's a term called as ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus simply means all the other factors remaining unchanged. It is a word from different language. It's not an English word. Ceteris paribus simply means if all the other factors remain unchanged, which I've already written. All the other factors remain unchanged, equal to ceteris paribus. Right? It's a Latin word. Don't worry. Right? So if all the other factors remain unchanged, price and demand will move in opposite direction, inversely related. That's it. That is what you need to understand. So is it applicable everywhere? Right? This doesn't work here. I will explain that. Wait. I did not say law of demand is over. Wait for it. Done. Now, how is the law of demand represented? Right? How is the law of demand represented? It is represented in a downward sloping curve. Law of demand is represented in a downward sloping curve. That is, a graph is drawn where the quantity for the goods or the demand for the goods will be represented along the x-axis and the price of the good is represented along y-axis. I'll tell you one concept. Please don't mug up this. This is not important. Many of you will ask me, sir, how the curve is drawn, how the line is drawn like this. I'll explain it, but not required for UPSC. Trust me on this, not required for UPSC. But many of you will be concerned about how the lines are drawn, how this will happen, that will happen. Give me 2 minutes, I'll explain this. Now, can you see this from the table on the right side? The table on the right side is called as a demand schedule. Required for UPSC? Absolutely no. Not required for UPSC. Just to explain how the line is drawn, I'll explain this. This is called as a demand schedule, which is prepared by companies. What they do is, at different prices for the good. If the price of the good is this much, how much is the demand in the market? If the price of the good is this much, how much is the demand in the market? They prepare a table. This is called as a demand schedule. And using a demand schedule, you can simply draw the demand curve. How? Let me show it to you. Please don't practice this in the home. Not required. Not at all required for UPSC. I need it. That's the reason I'm explaining. I'll need this particular concept in a further discussion. Now understand this. Somebody said it is required for CSET. This is GS paper 3. GS paper 3. I talk only for GS paper 3. For GS paper 3, this kind of drawing of the graphs is not required. Okay. Now understand this. Understand the logic here. Along the x-axis, I will have to plot the demand. Right. What is the demand? 100, 120 like this. 100. 120, 140, 160, and let's say 180 after that, right behind me, don't worry. Right, and along the y-axis, prices have to be plotted. Right, these are the prices: 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60 rupees. Now you have the parameters, you have the coordinates. Start plotting. At 20 rupees, how much is the demand? 180 units. At 20 rupees, the demand is 180 units. It will be here. At 30 rupees, the demand is 160 units. It will be here. At 40 rupees, the demand is 140 units. Right, at 40, it will be 140 units. Point will be here. At 50 rupees, 120, the point will be here. At 60, it is 100. Right, so the point will be here. Can you see the points here? Can you see the points? I will connect all the points. I will connect all the points. So understand this. When you connect all the points, what you get is nothing but a demand curve itself. Okay, what you get is the demand curve. This is how the demand curve will be drawn. Should you learn how the demand curve is drawn? Trust me, no, not required. But I need this particular concept going forward to explain one idea. That's the reason I've shown you how these particular demands are drawn. I'm sorry, how this particular demand curve is drawn. And somebody said, sir, the line is not right. The line is not proper. Don't worry. That line is not straight. I know. I don't have a ruler like this. I don't have a scale. Not required for UPSC. Anyways, the concept is clear to you. Is the concept clear to you? That is more important. So logic is simple here. The demand curve is a downward sloping curve. Demand curve is a downward sloping curve. That is, the curve will always be sloping downwards like this. Right. So these are important points regarding the demand curve. Beyond that, there is a concept of movement and the shift of the curve. We will discuss that later. Give me some time. So this is the law of demand. Now, some of you will ask, sir, why this kind of a behavior is observed? Why is that when the prices will move upwards, demand will go downwards? Why is that so? Reason is very simple here. One, whenever the price of the commodity changes, right, either goes down or goes up, doesn't matter. How much can you purchase? Right, with the same amount of money will also change. Let me explain. Imagine you have this. Right, imagine you have this. How much is there in the hand? 100 rupees. And the price of a particular product today, right now, the price of the product is, let's say, 20 rupees per unit. So you have 100 rupees. You'll go to the market. The price of the product is 20 rupees per unit. How many units can you purchase? Simple calculation. 20 rupees, 100 rupees, 5 units you can purchase. Thanks. Many of you are calculating. Right, thanks. Now imagine the price of the product increases, goes up from 20 rupees to 25 rupees. I understand this. Price of the product goes up from 20 to 25. Now with the same 100 rupees, how many units can you purchase? 4. That is exactly what is given here. When the price was at 20, you were able to, the demand in the market was 180. But when the price went up to 30 rupees, the demand has to come down. That is given here. And that's the reason I said price and demand will move in opposite direction. If price goes down, demand goes up. And if price goes up, demand goes down. Right? They will move in opposite direction. You can simply remember the term opposite direction, or you can simply remember the term inversely related. Inversely related. Right? Inversely related. Opposite, inversely related, or negative relation. Negative relation. Either of the terms remember one and the same. Right? All of them are one and the same. Right? So this is the reason why the demand actually changes. And second reason is simple. If you remember earlier, in the context of tea and coffee, I told you that price of tea has increased. And when the price of tea has increased, you people said, so in that case, we'll simply shift from consumption of tea to consumption of coffee. We'll shift from tea to coffee. So when you shift from tea to coffee, what will happen to demand for tea? Demand for tea has gone down. Any problem so far? Let me know. Any problem so far? Right? When the price has gone up, right, you shifted from consumption of tea to coffee. So what will happen to demand for tea? Demand for tea will go down. Right? So that is the basic idea why the price and demand will move in opposite direction. Now many of your concerns are this is not seen there, this is not here, this is not there. Wait, Baba, wait, I've not yet completed. Right? You are always trying to put the cart before the horse. Wait, let me complete the whole discussion. So this is the law of demand. Let me go to the next one, law of supply. Right? The concept is next one is the law of supply. I'll discuss all of these. Don't worry. Just give me some time. For example, I will look at this. Can you see the slide? Certain exceptions are there to the law of demand. I will address your concerns. Wait for it. So the next law is the law of supply. Right? What do you mean by law of supply? Law of supply states that if all the other factors remain unchanged, ceteris paribus. I repeat, if all the other factors remain unchanged, right? Ceteris paribus. In such cases, if the price of the good rises up, then the supply will also rise up. I'll repeat the statement here. Right? The law of supply states that ceteris paribus. If the price of the good rises up, then the supply of the good will also rise up. So is it just applicable to good or service? Both good as well as service. But commonly we keep on using the term good itself. But if you ask me, sir, is it true in case of services? Yes, it is true even in case of services. Done. So law of supply. Right? In case of law of supply, the price and the supply will move in the same direction. Positive relation. I'll repeat the statement. Right? In case of law of demand, price and demand opposite direction. In case of law of supply, price and supply in the same direction. Price goes up, supply goes up. Price goes down, supply goes down. Why? Why does it happen? Simple. Whenever the price goes up, the supplier starts earning more profits. Understand this. Whenever the price goes up, the supplier or the seller in the market starts earning more and more profit. Now imagine you are that particular supplier. Prices have gone up, your profits have gone up from 1 rupee to 2 rupee, 2 rupee to 3 rupee per unit. You tell me, will you increase your supply or decrease the supply? Do you understand this? When the profits will start moving upwards, obviously in order to earn more and more profits, what do? You will also increase your supply. That is the reason why the law of supply says the price and the supply, both of them will go in the same direction. Now some of you simply say, sir, what if the price has increased because the cost of raw material has increased? The price might be increasing because the price of the raw material has increased and the raw material cost has increased, which means I have to push up the prices. It could be because of that also. And then your theory will be wrong. Theory is not wrong because understand this. They are assuming that. They're simply assuming that nothing else in the market will change. Right? When I say nothing else in the market will change, what do I mean? Your labor cost will not change. I've written all of them. Your labor cost will not change. Cost of raw materials will not change. The technology that you're using, it will not change. Right? So nothing else changes. Everything remains the same, unchanged. The only thing that changes is price of the product. And when the price of the product goes up, the supply should also go up. Why? Because nothing else is changing. Your profits are increasing. In order to earn more and more profits, right? Basically, you start supplying more and more. Right? So far, so good. Any issue so far? Let me know. Any issue so far? Any problems related to law of demand and law of supply? Don't complicate things. Don't say, sir, demand and supply both are not mixing. I'll come to that. Just give me some time. Give me some time. Individually, any problem with only law of demand and only law of supply? If yes, let me know. If you combine both of them, I'll discuss that in the later slide. That's the reason I'm saying, wait, I'll discuss that also. Law of supply again. Law of supply simply states that if nothing else changes, that is raw material cost, right? The labor cost, cost of technology, price of related goods, etc. There is no change in any of these. Only the price of the product changes. That is, the price rises up, price goes down. Then the supply will also change in the same direction. That is, if the price goes up, supply goes up. If the price goes down, supply goes down. That is the basic idea of law of supply. Right now, I know all of you simply say, sorry, if supply goes down, that should happen. Right, related to prices, demand goes down, this should happen. We have not yet mixed both of them. We'll mix both law of demand and supply. We'll discuss that also. So far, there should not be any concern regarding only law of demand and only law of supply. Okay. Now, law of supply representation. How do we represent law of supply? It is an upward sloping curve. It is an upward sloping curve. Remember this. It is an upward sloping curve where along the x-axis will represent the quantity of goods which are supplied, and along the y-axis will represent the price of the commodity. And it should make sense to you when I say when the price of the good will start rising up like this, the quantity of goods which are supplied should also increase. And look at the supply schedule. This is, by the way, supply schedule. Just like the demand schedule, this is the supply schedule. Whenever the prices will keep on rising up, supply of the goods will also keep on rising up. And that is because you are having more and more profit. Right? In order to earn more profit, you supply more. So this is law of demand, law of supply. Now coming to your concerns. So is it applicable in all the situations? Is it holding true in all the goods? Right? Are there any exceptions to this? Of course, yes, there will be. Right? There will be certain exceptions. Let me explain. One is availability of substitutes. Imagine the price of a product rises up. I said that as per the law of demand, the demand should go down. This is what I've explained. But the issue here is, what if there is no